Jesse on a Thursday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Got a lot of text messages from you guys last night as the Cardinals crapped all over the field at the Great American Small Park.
No, don't be nice.
Be nice.
Be honest. It was awful. What
Guys
an
are
awful
working
series.
hard.
No, they're not.
They're playing hard.
Nope.
They're just having a
rough spell, are they?
rough string of luck.
Giving in is not an option, though.
Yeah, we don't quit.
Too late.
Well, technically, there's still games on the schedule,
There
so somebody will show up
You're not going to forfeit.
and at least play those games.
Maybe.
It's not that they're going to play well, but they'll play. 9-2 loss. 9-2 loss to the Cincinnati Reds last night. Jonathan India had himself a night, didn't he?
Yeah, he picked a nice night to turn it all around.
Wow.
All it took was the Cardinals.
Little struggling from Jonathan India heading into the series.
Forever.
Not great.
Yeah.
Touches seats twice, once in the third, once in the fifth. Tyler Stevenson. Be good to not see him for a little while. He homered again in the series.
Anthony, why don't you just say who did not hit a home run?
Yeah, no, that's Marsh. That's a good call. So, of the Cincinnati Reds that did not hit a home run, Ella De La Cruz, although he did double.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about the whole series.
No, he hit a home run in the
Yes.
series.
I don't think Will Benson hit a homer, did he?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
All right, so you got one. I don't think Marte
But you
homered.
had three guys hit multiples.
We know that India
Spencer
homered.
Steer hit 2.
Yep.
And what's his name?
Friedel hit a couple. Candelario hit a monster shot.
It's still going.
Did Fraley homer last night?
Yeah, but he did. I thought he did in this series,
He may have.
unless I'm mistaken.
All right, so right now it's Fraley, Benson, and Marte.
Fraley did.
The three guys that hit the bottom of Cincinnati's order. Everybody else touched seats for the Reds in this
They gave up
series.
10 home runs in the series.
It's pathetic, man. I love Gibby, but that was rough. That was rough to watch last night. As my dear friend and colleague Jamie Rivers would say, he was throwing batting practice last night.
Yes.
You're now tied with Cincinnati at 60-61. All of that goodwill that you kind of mustered up in mid-May and a little bit in June, that's all gone again. You're one game below 500. You're tied with Cincinnati now, 8.5 games back of Milwaukee. The division is long gone. We don't have to talk about that anymore. You're really talking about the third wild card. And you're in a mix now, not only with the Reds, but with the Giants and the Mets.
And the Pirates have been playing horribly, but they're still there.
They've lost 10 straight.
But they are a game and a half behind you.
Sure.
As
They've
well.
lost 10 straight and they're right behind
And the
you.
Cubs. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They're 3.5 games. The Cubs are a game and a half. The Cubs are right there.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's awful.
And when you watch this team, I mentioned this yesterday at some point. When you watch this team, what's going to save them? Your two big boppers, or the guys that are supposed to be your two big boppers, have done next to nothing. They have not carried you at any point. Has anybody gotten hot?
This season?
Yes.
No.
I mean,
No.
Juan Soto was intentionally walked last night because he's so hot. They intentionally walked him to get to Aaron Judge.
How'd that work out?
Has anybody
Not
on the
great.
Cardinals been intentionally walked
I
this
don't
year?
think so.
Why would you?
I don't think so.
I'm serious. I wish we could find
I don't
out.
think so. I doubt
I
it.
have not, with these eyeballs, I have not seen one
I can't
Cardinal
recall one.
player
I can't either.
walked.
That's unbelievable. What do they do well? I'm talking about the big stuff. Like defensively, I know they're good. But what gives anybody hope? I know I wore the red glasses yesterday and we had some fun and all that, but in all seriousness, what gives you hope that there's any elements of this club to say, yeah, you know what, you still got that. If that could get going, like we're long past the, Farinado and Goldschmidt can get going. They're not.
I was
down
going to say
season.
that. I was going to say that. I think we're well past. I think we're at the point where we know it ain't getting going, and this is what you get. Like you're not going to. We've said this literally all season long. Well, if Goldie and Arenado get going, anything is possible. Well, it's not.
It's not.
It's not happening.
It's August 15th. It's mid-August.
It would have been going at this point, in my opinion.
Guys, our buddy Pete on the text line
Hey, Pete.
says, we're going to make the playoffs. You can throw all the numbers, facts, and everything in between, and that's fine. But they will make it. You guys just don't see it.
I don't.
We're not the only ones who don't
I would
see
love
it.
I
to
played
see
that game yesterday,
would
and then they
love to
lost
see it.
9-2.
Let's throw out the numbers then. According to Fangraphs, the Cardinals have a 2.5% chance to clinch a wild card
Those
spot.
are numbers.
And a 4.9% chance of making the playoffs. So I will throw numbers at you because
No,
out of 100%,
He said throw them out.
I'm throwing them at him. I'm throwing the numbers at him because out of 100%, 2.5% is not good.
He threw you. He threw you a Kyle Gibson changeup that you just blasted. Like you were TJ Friedel.
You know, guys are working hard.
How about last night?
I love how you just keep going back to that.
How about last night?
Guys are working hard.
Victor Scott, and I love Victor Scott.
Oh,
He looks at a fastball right down the middle.
what was he
doesn't swing.
expecting there?
I don't know.
So
he strikes out.
He watched it go right into the catcher's glove.
Sometimes you guess wrong.
And like the first pitch, the next half inning, also right down the middle of the plate,
Well.
but that one's out of the ballpark.
Listen, either you're looking for a good fastball like that or you're not. That's what it comes down to,
probably
guys.
should always be looking for that.
You should probably always be ready for that fastball.
Again,
Yes.
you shouldn't strike out looking on the fastball. You shouldn't strike out
Not
looking.
one down the middle of the
strikeout.
plate.
No.
Not rooster middle. No.
That's what it's one thing to get caught looking, right? Off a big breaking ball, something that jumps, it drops, like,
Yeah, you
This
got me.
one here, he's staring at the ball the whole way, and he watches it, bends down, gets a better look, and watches it go right into the catcher's glove, right in the sweet spot.
What do you want from them?
I want
Guys
them
are working hard.
to be competitive
They're not.
Guys
with
are
what
working,
they
I promise
have.
you. And when I watch the post-game interview, every time I see it, guys are working hard.
Well, you had a couple gummy bears today?
I'm telling you.
You are kind of lax.
He's
Yeah.
very
Listen,
quiet.
where'd you get
Yeah.
Listen,
What'd you put in his drink, Marshy?
You were all fired up yesterday.
I watch. Listen, I watched the game. I don't know if you guys watch it like I watch it. Guys are working hard. Just not working out.
Had to check that out.
What do we
That's
got?
definitely going to be a start of the.
Smells like coffee, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I had to put a little something extra in there to calm me down.
There's something in
a
there.
little
All right.
sedative. Calm my
Gary's going
nerves.
to need a mattress for next segment.
You know, I might just go to sleep. I mean, hell, what difference does it make, right? Huh?
Well, we got a 4-hour show. We
Gary,
gotta
you're
entertain the
working
people.
hard.
They're working hard. Guys are working hard. Yeah, Rasheed Wallace, both teams played hard, my man. That's what we are. Guys are working hard.
Pathetic.
They are. It just ain't working out. That's all I got.
Here's the question: Are they performing up to their capabilities?
I think
is this
so.
their capability?
I think
I'm
so.
dead serious.
I am too.
Actually,
This is a 500 team,
I am
right?
too. I am.
This is what I
yes.
said 2 months ago. I said it's a 500 team. They're going to be a 500 team.
I think they are who they are. They are who we thought they were.
This is what 500 teams do. Back when the NFL had just 16 games, when you were 8-8, you look good for certain months and bad for certain months. NBA, NHL, same deal. If you are an average team, you will find your way to 500, whether you're 5 games below or 5 games greater. You will eventually work your way back to 500. That's what the Cardinals are this
agree.
season. They're a 500 team. They're average.
Yep.
This is why I was so frustrated. I mean, I listened and everybody, Mother's Day. Okay.
Happy Mother's Day.
It's a great holiday.
Cool.
Well, but since Mother's Day, the Cardinals are. Yeah, I know. And now they aren't.
No.
Guys are doing the best job they can do. And I honestly believe that. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, that's sad.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, you're right,
When
though.
I say that,
That's the
I honestly
realization.
think they are doing the best job that they can do.
You're right.
I don't think. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It was the week you weren't here, and we had Ben Hockman on, and he asked Ollie about urgency, and Ollie said, "Guys have urgency. It's not urgency we're lacking."
Right.
He said, "Well, what are you lacking?" It ain't urgency. Might be
Production.
talent.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all of the above.
Yes.
Like you might not be. This might be the best you can be
With this roster.
with this team.
Yeah.
And so, I'm cool.
So they're going to be 81 and 81.
Probably less than that.
No, they're 500 team. Like I said, they're going to be 81 and 81.
Yeah, they're under 500 right now. So
I don't even know if they'll
be
get to
plus.
81.
They'll be plus one.
you told us 89 wins a couple of weeks ago. 87.
He said 92.
Did he say
No,
90?
I didn't say 92. I didn't give you any.
Anthony,
No,
I'm pulling
you
the
did
audio
give
right
us-
now.
you
said
did give us-
somewhere in the 90s.
You did give us 88 up plus. It was something above 88.
No, I don't
believe.
remember
We're
that.
going to pull the
Yeah,
podcast.
we're gonna find it.
Anthony's on the Chagachino. I looked it up. That's the coffee alternative that uses medicinal mushrooms in the brewing
Sure.
process.
That's what Carey's got
Yes.
going on today.
Maybe
Did you
somebody
go to
put it in
Did you
there.
go to my desk?
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw that. I
used
like a
to-
sugar cube.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, no.
I used it yesterday. I used it yesterday. I don't even remember yesterday's show. Don't remember what I said.
You don't remember putting the glasses on and
No,
going
not
crazy?
once. No, what did I
You
say?
put them on twice and the bow tie.
The Blues glasses after Doug Armstrong made some moves?
The red,
the red ones.
glasses for the Cardinals
And the what? The bow tie?
and the bow
I
tie.
don't remember that.
Yeah.
It was quite the spectacle.
Oh, 618 said Anthony said 93 wins. I know, and he's probably right.
He has that
He
etched
probably-
into the wall.
I believe
in
it
his
then.
notes.
I
He might
believe it
have
then.
that as a tattoo.
If the
probably
618 is saying it, if the 618 is saying it, I believe it.
You did. I
He
know
is
you-
one of our best listeners.
You did say it. Do you stand
No,
by it?
I stand by it now. If the 618 says I said it.
Okay.
Anything positive about the Cardinals, he has tracked it. He has got. I
Meticulous notes.
envision my 618 in his basement with all sorts of graphs, pie charts, linear, like for no reason, just linear graphs of when we said anything positive
And when we've laughed.
remotely positive. Yes. Well, that's just a counter. Like he's just holding the.
Like the Costco guy. When
Yes.
He walked in.
That's him.
He's like, Carey's laughing.
But the walls are Excel or Google Sheets just all over the place.
A smart board. He's got a
A
smart,
smart board. So I know what he
moving
just
it out of the way.
Yeah. All he did right there is he just turned around and goes, got the
93.
93.
It's in big bold letters.
Big
too.
bold letters.
Numbers.
This will come
Colors.
up again. Don't forget. That's the note. That's he put a sticky note on there.
I wonder if he knows the date that you
Oh, he's
said.
got it. Yeah, he's got it. He may have to go through the Bible of when Fastlane said positive things about the Cardinals, but he'll get it. He'll get there. Got to organize his notes, too. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Should the Cardinals have brought up Luken Baker instead of Jordan Walker? That's next.
Jordan Walker, when he was right last year, when he came back to the minor leagues, he hit everybody. It didn't matter if it was right-handed or left-handed. I think the kid needs to play. I think he needs to play every day. You hope that it's not just a platoon situation, but right now they really don't want to run a lot of their lefties out against, opposing left-handers. So they're going to do a lot of platooning with Jordan Walker and Lars Nootbaar in right field.
That was John Denton yesterday on with BK and Ferrario. He is the Cardinals beat writer for MLB.com. Should the Cardinals have brought up Luken Baker instead of Jordan Walker if they weren't going to play him? If they were just going to platoon Jordan Walker anyway, should they have brought up Luken Baker in your guys'
opinion? I said it. What did I say yesterday or the day before? Maybe it was yesterday. Luken Baker is absolutely crushing baseballs down the AAA level. Now, it's AAA baseball. Does that automatically mean he's going to come up and contribute offensively? No, it doesn't. But it also doesn't mean he won't. And he's got 1,100 OPS against left-handed pitching. So if you want to do your platoon thing, and you don't have to play him in the outfield. Just when he plays, he's the DH. Mm-hmm. That's it. Contreras has to catch that day. Burley's got to play right field. Newt can have a seat on the bench because he's not doing very much at all. And you put Tommy Pham out there, move Donovan to second base, let Gorman sit next to Nootbaar. That's how you make your team better offensively. And if Luken Baker, who's had very little time at the major league level, under 100 plate appearances, like BT said yesterday, which is not a lot, let him eat. And the guy 2 years in a row, he's led AAA baseball in home runs. Mm-hmm. And what do you need right now?
Power.
Yeah, from the right side.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And then you can platoon him all you want. So then if it's a game you don't want to play, big deal. It's Luken Baker. Who cares? He can't play in the outfield anyways, right? We're not going to play him there. But when it's Jordan Walker, he should be playing every game. I just don't like the way they're handling this. I don't think this is in the best interest of the team or the player.
So my frustration is I believe they brought Jordan Walker up because they needed a position, an outfield player, a player that can play in the outfield.
Yeah, do you want to read that real quick?
Yes.
Okay, so this is because this is going to lead to your statement. Ollie Marmol and Jordan Walker being used primarily versus left-handed pitching. The big league team has a need, and it's a right-handed bat. So that's the simplest way to look at it. It's not May. It's the end of the year. You have a limited amount of games left, and our biggest struggle has been against left-handed pitchers. Yes, we know it's only Kershaw, and Milwaukee has all right-handed starters for the most part. So we were aware of what of that going into how we made this decision. But there's also left-handed relievers where Walker can take an at-bat against. We have a need versus lefty, and it has to be someone that could play an outfield position.
So you know why?
I don't know why.
Why? I'll tell you why. Because Lars Nootbaar can't hit left-handed pitching, but he's only hitting. Well, let me search this again because I had it up. Versus left-handed pitching, he's actually batting .236. He's batting .222 against right-handed pitching. Looks like you need an outfielder in general. Mm-hmm. Nolan Gorman is not hitting the ball against either, which means you have to put Brendan Donovan at second base. And so now you have two outfield corner positions because two of those players aren't playing. But instead of letting the young man who is down in Memphis doing a fantastic job, the reason I would believe that you called him up, instead of letting him play every day, you're going to platoon him for who? The two guys that aren't hitting? That makes zero sense to me. If those guys are performing well, then you say, okay, yeah, you're here for this specific role. But neither of those guys are performing at the level that warrant being able to play every single day. They haven't done a good enough job in the opportunities that they've been given, so why are you still giving them opportunities? Because you couldn't care. Like, in my opinion, do you want to win? Or do you just want people's feelings to not be hurt? Mm-hmm. Because both of those guys aren't performing at a level good enough to play every day. It's just why you brought Jordan Walker up. But you're not going to let him play every day. You're going to still give them opportunities. That's maddening to me.
So where I get confused and frustrated is when they say he's been brought up to bat against left-handed pitching. His OPS is better against right-handed pitching. Mm-hmm. Jordan Walker is more successful batting against right-handed pitching. So the thought process of, like, even if we're going to the numbers on this one.
Right. The numbers suggest otherwise.
The numbers tell you that he's not as good Now, it's a slim margin, but the bottom line is his OPS is higher against right-handed pitching.
Well, that's because they want those other guys to have an opportunity to play against right-handed pitching. But they aren't playing well enough against righties or lefties to warrant the opportunity to continue to play.
Right.
Like, it's not, you've already moved away from Nolan Gorman playing every day. You have accepted that. You know what? Ain't going to be able to do it. Brendan Donovan, go there. Tommy Pham, go to left field. You've already accepted that. Newt Bar, it's the same thing. He's not playing at the level that is needed to be given opportunities to play every single day, but yet they still are. And you're not winning. And then you'll blame Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado because, yeah, they got to carry the team, but damn it, other people got to carry the team as well. They don't have to carry it, but they got to carry their own water. You can't expect Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt to carry everyone's water. Somebody got to carry their own water up the hill, and nobody is. And so this is why this team is where they are right now. And you get a young player. Again, I'm still baffled that the best hitter on the team versus Hunter Green didn't even hit against Hunter Green. He was 4 for 7. He didn't play. If you go by the numbers, what are you doing? Yeah. Numbers say this. Numbers say, Brandon Crawford, you get to bat against Neris in this position because you are 5 for 8. The numbers bear it out. Do they? So when we want to use the numbers, we will. When we don't want to use the numbers, we won't. And as a young player trying to figure out their role, it is so much going on when you are a rookie, when you are a second-year player, when you are a third-year player, still trying to figure out how to manage life as a professional athlete, and then you're saying, "Oh, I got this guy. I've been killing this guy." Yep, you're not in the lineup today. Wait, what? Who's better than me against him? Nobody. But yeah, you're going to sit this one out.
Got a feeling.
Why? What's the reason? What are you doing? And so now as a young player, and Jamie, you talked about this when he hit a ball yesterday and wanted to slam his bat into the ground. There's a level of frustration that I cannot make any mistakes. It's like a basketball player when they get the ball and they're just getting in the game. If I turn it over, I'm going to be sitting down. Now I'm not playing the game how I know to play. And so it's the same way for every sport. I am playing tight because I know if I don't perform, I'm going to go sit down. But Nolan Gorman, you can mess up as many times as you want. You can strike out all day and all night. You'll still get an opportunity. Lars Nootbaar, you as well. You'll still get an opportunity. But this young man is your first-round draft pick, and you have higher expectations. So why aren't the opportunities more? I don't know.
Before we close out this segment, here's Janet, who chimed in on Luken Baker.
Jamie, I was with you till you got to Luken Baker. It's okay if they give him another chance, but don't play him anywhere in the field because he can't even bend over to catch the ball, and he can't catch the ball. And he's raking, but he's raking in the minors, just like he did last year. I do not believe that he is a major league player, but we shall see.
Well, Janet, I always appreciate your mic drops, and I appreciate your fire. But why not give him major league at-bats? He's got under 100 plate appearances. Just let him go out there and swing. She's right. I don't have any desire to play him defensively out there.
Yeah, you said DH.
DH or a right-handed bat off the bench.
Yep.
And you just play him that way. And if Luken Baker doesn't like it or he gets frustrated, it doesn't really matter. He's not supposed to be your franchise player anytime soon, or ever, for that matter.
Right. Yeah. All right. It's Fast on 101 at ESPN. We have What's Trending coming up next. When it comes to finding the perfect automobile you're looking for, then head to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum or start right there online at autocentersnissan.com. That's what my wife Kristen and I did when we were looking for a new vehicle, and we wound up with a pre-owned Pathfinder right there from Auto Centers Nissan. We perused the over 700 vehicles that they have out in Herculaneum, all in one location. We took a couple of different test drives in multiple vehicles, and that was the one we fell in love with. Maybe you're not in a market for an SUV. Maybe you're looking for something smaller. They've got it at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. Different makes, different models, and of course, new Nissans too. And they've got the summer heat wave sale going on right now at Auto Center's Nissan. You can have select new Nissans with rates as low as 0% APR and for terms as long as 84 months. You can save big on select new Nissans with thousands of Nissan bonus cash and dealer discounts. It's their lowest prices of 2024, and qualified buyers can take advantage of no money down, plus take a break from their car payments for 3 months. If you got bad credit, they've got options for you. They also have the 30-day return car policy, the complimentary lifetime warranty on new Nissans and eligible used vehicles, as well as the complimentary 1-year maintenance on new Nissans. Check them out online at autocentersnissan.com. When you head out to Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals lose 9-2 last night to the Cincinnati Reds. They are swept in Cincy. They are now 1 game under 500, 4.5 games back of that final wild card spot. And they get to invite the Los Angeles Dodgers into town. Tomorrow night, Miles Michaelis will take the mound against the Dodgers. 7:15 first pitch. If you missed any of our conversations regarding your St. Louis Cardinals, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page where you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have What's Trending coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, we got a text yesterday at the end of the show that I wanted to bring up. And it's about your St. Louis City soccer team. All right. This is from the 314.
They're not doing much good either, Carey.
Riveting but heartbreaking loss to the top team in North America last night, as City SC lost to Club America 4-2. But instead of mentioning City SC, we have the 76th 10-minute rant on the direction of the Cardinals. I assume the guys hate soccer or don't know it, so don't talk about it. I seriously don't know because it's never addressed. But 22,500 people go to each game. It's a big gap in your coverage. Even passing mention would be a nice break between the daily DeWitt laments and comparisons of NFL teams to the Cardinals front office and the 35th comparison of Mo to Army. So my question for you gentlemen is, do you think our soccer coverage is scarce because of all of the changes that are surrounding the team? They're fairly new. It seems like they're going in a different direction. We don't really know what direction they are going in, essentially. Maybe we do. Or is it because they have 4 wins and one of the worst teams in the league?
All of the above.
Clubs.
My bad.
That's okay. That's all right.
All of the above for me.
Marsh, I know you're trying.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to bring it up. I know you're the soccer expert.
That's okay. We're all learning.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate the terminology.
Jamie?
Yeah, I just said it's all the above for me. As you know, when we first started this soccer team, we had Bradley Carnell, and Bradley Carnell seemed to have an identity. He had a team that had an identity. They came out in the first year, played very, very, very well. Got eliminated in the playoffs. The back half of their season was to be desired. But then this year they come out pretty lackluster. Not being able to score goals, for one thing, was a problem. And then they fire Bradley Carnell, and then they're making a whole bunch of changes to where you don't know who's on the team on which night, and they're still losing. So it doesn't really give me a massive appetite to consume City SC soccer right now.
I went to a City game a couple weeks ago. We played FC Juarez. It's a good game. They lost on penalty kicks, but in person it was really fun. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that they were up 2-1 to Club America and gave up 3 goals in the second half and lost that game the other day. It's a tough way to lose. It is. Anthony, what do you think?
Well, Brad Thompson said that as soon as soccer gets going here in St. Louis, we'll certainly talk about it a lot. And we took care of that problem. So.
All right, guys. Anyways,
those are my thoughts.
So, I saw this video last night.
Jamie, your thoughts on that?
You said it all, Anthony.
Thank you.
Saw this video last night of Barry Bonds and Greg Maddux.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were breaking down an at-bat that Barry Bonds had against Greg Maddux in the 90s when Maddux was with the Atlanta Braves, Barry Bonds with the San Francisco Giants. And it got me thinking, you know, we think of Barry Bonds as this dude who just mashed baseballs, which is exactly what he did. But Barry Bonds was one of the smartest baseball players that I think we have ever seen. Mm-hmm. He knew exactly what he was going to throw before it even happened. He knew on the second pitch, after getting an inside strike that was hit for a foul ball, that he would throw a low and away changeup. And so he didn't even consider even swinging at it.
Yeah.
He just spit on it, right? And then the next pitch inside, boom, gone. What did you see from Barry Bonds other than his raw ability to hit the baseball?
So Jeff Pearlman wrote a book about Barry Bonds in 2007 called Love Me, Hate Me, Barry Bonds and the Making of an Anti-Hero. And in that book, and in the book has been out for a while now, but a lot of the stories still hold up. And a lot of what Barry Bonds was as a player and off the field, I think really detail who he was. And who he was very complicated. This is not somebody that you could always take at face value, because he'd turn around and give, like, for example, he'd be a curmudgeon with his teammates. he would give the coaching staff a hard time, or he would, demand that he'd have 10 locker stalls within a clubhouse with his own chair and TVs and all that. But quietly, he apparently gave to a ton of charities. Quietly, he would connect with a fan that he didn't know and help out their family. Like that was kind of who Bonds was as a player. From the majority of his career, it states that he wouldn't help out his teammates. Like he would just do his thing and that's it. But then later on in his career, he would sit there in spring training and talk to a young player, and he would call what the pitch was going to be in spring training based on the pitcher, what he threw, what the count was. And they said he was damn near accurate 100% of the time. This was a brilliant baseball mind. This was an outstanding player that, because of the cream in the clear, was able to extend his career a lot longer because he was starting to break down. He extended his career. He was able to put up, video game numbers in the 2000s. If you put that away, he probably was a Hall of Famer before the 2000s, though. If you look at just contributions to the game overall, power, speed, defense, the dude had everything. But we only remember the cream in the clear.
And I think that's one of the most
and the flaxseed
frustrating parts of
Large dome.
Barry Bonds. He was a 2-time MVP when he was in Pittsburgh. He was one of the best players to play the game before he started taking these alleged drugs to enhance his ability.
Is it still alleged?
It's alleged.
Is it?
Did he? It's alleged.
It's alleged.
It's always going to be alleged. Before that even took place, one of the best players to ever play the game, and I think that is what people remember him as. Oh, he cheated up. Is it cheating if everybody's doing it, allegedly? If we're all doing it, pitchers included?
When there's no suspension in place yet?
Is there a problem?
It's frowned upon.
By whom?
Please don't
Because
do that.
everybody, what he did was, he was a superhero that took something, allegedly, and became better than the other players. But he was already better than the other players, and y'all are mad. Not y'all, but people. He's one of the best players to ever play the game. And he is a Hall of Famer, I think, before he got to San Francisco. Like, he's a 14-time All-Star. There are so many things, as you said. It wasn't just about how the home runs looked. He was crushing the baseball, obviously. But he was hitting the ball really well and really hard when he wasn't in San Francisco and didn't have a bigger head as his head got bigger.
That's weird. He just never stopped growing.
Yeah, I mean, usually
He had a growth spurt at 35.
He did. Yeah. It's rare, but apparently it does
But here's
happen.
the thing. He was still one of the best players to play the game. And I think it's
He was
overlooked.
good defensively, too, guys. Let's not forget that.
It's overlooked because people talk about the cream and the clear as if everybody in baseball wasn't doing something.
I think Bonds wound up being the, how do I put this?
The poster child?
When McGuire and Sosa did their thing in 98, it's regarded as saving baseball, as we know, because you had the strike.
Oh, yeah.
People are tuned. You had the 94 strike. Jamie still hates it because Montreal had a great team that year.
We did. We had
the
a
Expos had an
fantastic
unbelievable team. So you had the strike. Fans tuned out. You're like, we don't need this. And then McGuire and Sosa did their thing. And both guys were beloved. Sosa especially. Like Sosa with the gregarious, personality and all that.
And the hop.
And all that. Like,
American
everybody
flag.
loved it. Everybody loved that chase. There was always a sense of Bonds thinking to himself, oh, you think that's cute? Watch this. So when he started to dabble
He took more flaxseed.
in the flaxseed oil,
Did he take more?
I don't know if he took more, but
No,
he
if he took
it
better than you, to begin with. If we're all even, if we're all on the same amount of supplements, and I'm better than you, and then we start taking more supplements to get better,
You're still gonna be
I'm
ahead.
still going to be ahead.
Yes.
Like, is that my fault? It's not.
I don't know how
God
to-
gave him
I don't know how to
something that
answer
he
that.
didn't give everybody else. Well, if they all weren't taking anything, he still would be the best player.
Yeah.
And to the point of
Go ahead.
the video that I brought up and what you said,
He's brilliant.
the guy knew where the pitch was going to be.
Yeah.
I don't care if he allegedly took whatever. He knew where the ball was
There
going
you
to
go.
be.
Yes.
So he hit it every single time.
He had a brilliant baseball mind. He really did. But when you do that, and then you said, well, you one up everybody, and the one thing in baseball you can't do is you can't touch the records. Fans still hold baseball records as the end-all be-all. And once he did that, his career was always marred by that.
Allegedly.
Well, once he allegedly
the
home run record,
took those.
Well, no, I'm just saying once he broke the the two are combined.
Yeah,
Well,
alleged.
it's allegedly enough to where he's not getting by with it.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I highly recommend for the listeners out there to find the video.
It doesn't surprise me.
2 minutes.
It doesn't surprise me that caught your eye.
Oh, it was
and
awesome.
You were drawn in by that.
Well, Jamie, you said you watched it too.
Yeah, I watched
it. Was
it
really
too.
cool. Highly
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I like that stuff.
Me too. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. If the Blues can only get one Oiler, which one makes the most sense for them? Marsh threw that in our text chain last night. I answered Connor McDavid.
And I like your answer.
Thank you. So we'll talk about why the Blues won't get McDavid, and then we'll concentrate on the two guys that they just signed to RFA deals. That's next on 101 ESPN. So Marsh threw it out to our group text last night. If the Blues can only get one Oiler, which one makes the most sense for the Blues? I said McDavid. I don't think he's an option, though, Jamie.
You never know unless if you don't ask.
You don't know.
Right?
You don't try, you don't know.
Stan Bowman's under a lot of pressure right now. He's got to get these two young guys signed. You might get them.
I felt like that might be asking too much, so I personally would take Leon Draisaitl. I think.
I mean, that's a
Connor
little
is
step
probably
down.
on a no move, no trade, no touch list.
Yeah.
But Draisaitl, he's got a contract coming up, right, Jamie? He's probably
He's got
available.
1 year left. Yeah.
There you go. That's the one. That's who we should. That's the one. If we're looking for one.
I think Marsh was referring more to the two guys that they signed to restricted free agent contracts.
I think you might be onto something, Anthony.
Okay.
Oh.
So, Jamie, out of those two guys, which one makes the most sense from a hockey standpoint?
Philip Broberg, big left-handed shot defenseman. That's what you're building your team. And you've got two really good goaltenders. I think you've got three really good defensemen in Falk, Parayko, and Leddy. I'm not saying they're all-stars or Hall of Famers. They're very solid. Suter's going to be, I don't know, father time. And Suter, we'll see. But he profiles to be a steady defenseman this year. Mm-hmm. You add a kid like Broberg in there, and you've solidified your core. Yeah. And you've got other young defensemen on the way, too. So you're looking to get back to where the Blues were in that 2014 to 2019 area when they had all those good defensemen. They had the Petros, the Bouwmeesters, Paraykos. Their defense core was so solid.
Yeah.
You're looking to get back to that spot. You don't have an Alex Pietrangelo yet. Who knows what some of these young defensemen turn into in the next 4 or 5 years. But to me, that's the area of biggest concern is tightening up your blue line.
Well, the thing that I like that what you said there was that this is what you're building toward. This is where Army has a vision. He comes in, he says, the direction of our team, the way I'm going to build this roster is this way. Once you figure that out as a GM, and you may say, well, why hasn't he figured it out before? The league changes, your roster changes, salary cap, and all that.
Figured it out before.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm not. What I'm trying to say is he hasn't just figured it out. I'm just saying this is his approach. So what's available now? Who's available now? And you're talking about these two guys. If Broberg fits that, what you're trying to build, great. Go get him. Hopefully they wind up with both. But if they wind up with just one, Broberg's the guy. I think that'd be sensational.
Yeah, and look, you have to look at it too from a standpoint of Army is addressing an area of need. And he's not really addressing the forward units that much because you have a ton of youth right now at the forward spot. You've got Bolduc, you've got Dean, Dvorsky, Snuggerud, Jake Neighbors. You've got some youth already in your forward group, along with some veteran guys. And you got some tweener guys like Toropchenko's not really a young guy anymore, but he's certainly not an old guy. But he's another young set of legs there. So I think that the area that you have to address is the blue line, and he's done that. Done a great job, and I guarantee that Philip Broberg is the one that they were targeting, primarily, and then said, okay, who else can we throw into this to
squeeze him out?
Really squeeze? And which one could they probably most likely match, and which one can they not? Which is why I think you see such a big difference in pay scale there, because both players, and I think we're going to get into this later, both players were projected to make in that $1.5-ish million. So the Holloway contract at 2.8 or whatever it is, I don't have the number in front of me, that's close to that. But at $4 million a year for Broberg, you didn't just take a sledgehammer. You took a friggin' wrecking ball to kill a housefly with that one to make sure that you can put him out of that threshold to where the Oilers really, really are going to have a tough time matching that.
No.
I'm excited about it. I think Army has done a really good job of trying to add to this team and add competition. Bringing guys in, you go out, you sign guys, you trade for guys, all of the things that they've done this offseason to make not standing pat and saying, you know what, we were right there. There were some things that could be better for this upcoming season. I feel like he's done that. Then the most important thing, in my opinion, is having that competition. Guys actually earning their paycheck, earning their spot, knowing that if you don't perform well enough, you may be looking for work. And so I think that, to me, is the best part about it. I'm looking forward to seeing, if they are able to get both of these guys and all of these guys in camp and seeing who actually is going to fight for these limited number of spots.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. What has changed for ownership for the Cardinals in 2018? We'll have that discussion next on 101 ESPN.
Some places winning is just a winning record, or even 500 is acceptable. Players have a nice season, go home and get back to their families and so forth. But not in this city, not with this franchise, and not with this history, and not with our great fans.
So that was Bill DeWitt Jr. back in 2018.
Tweets that aged well.
2018 is when Bill DeWitt said that. It was the press conference to name Mike Schultz the interim manager after Mike Matheny was fired. He was fired the game before the All-Star break. So I teased it. What has changed for the ownership of the Cardinals since 2018? Your shrug says it all, Jamie. Your shrug says it all. I don't know how much has changed. Because if you look at the payroll, in 2018, the Cardinals ranked 9th in baseball. In 2019, they ranked 6th. In 2020, they ranked 10th. In 21, they ranked 11th. In 22, 13. In 23, 17. In 24, back up to 12. So they have spent less on payroll overall, which we kind of saw coming, one, with the pandemic, and two, with what's going on with their TV network. So there's some ancillary things that factor into that. Mm-hmm. But it's not like they went from 11th to 27th. They have been in that 9th, the one weird year of 17. They've been 9 to 13.
Yeah.
I realize there's a difference between 9 and 13, but not a whole lot. So this team, this ownership group clearly has a sweet spot where they want payroll to be. The president has been the same. The GM has been the same. So what ultimately has changed since 2018? Not much, which is why you're getting the same results, say for last season when you're dead last. Do you guys agree with that? Like, do you guys see a glaring need, or I'm sorry, glaring change among the ownership group, the front office since 2018?
No, not really, I guess. And I have to be careful here because I don't want to just be completely biased with recency, right? Because my initial thought was, well, but those teams had stars on them. Like those teams in the 2018, 2019, you had stars. You had big-time players. But the Cardinals currently do have stars. The stars aren't really doing their job this year, but Arenado and Goldie. And when I say they're stars, it's not because I'm not even talking about their baseball skills. They're being paid like stars. And so, therefore, those are your guys. They're supposed to be your guys. So my initial thought of, well, you don't have any stars on your team, it's actually wrong. You're just paying two guys who aren't stars like stars. So I don't really know what the difference is. I feel like the philosophy has been the same, but the results haven't been the same. Like even those teams that you're talking about in 2018, 2019, like they weren't rock star teams, but they're making the playoffs. Like, and it sounds crazy now because at the start of the season, I don't want to just make the playoffs. Let's do this right now. And I said this back then. I'll take the playoffs.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a champion. World Series or bust. I'm like, that's fine. We can get to that point.
You're not in that conversation.
We're not. So I'll take the playoffs. And some might say, well, it's settling for mediocrity. I get it. But at least you're still in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Like right now, I said it yesterday, and I believe it. I will not change my tune. They're done. They're done. With the schedule that lies ahead of them and where they are and how they're playing and everything, that team looks like a team that's done.
Did the 9-2 loss change your mind at all?
He went into it with that mindset. I think
because not all losses are the same, you know. So
well, if you were looking for a different outcome or a different mindset after that game, you probably weren't going to get it.
No, they probably listened to Jamie and said, "Oh, Jamie thinks we're done, so
we're done.
We're not even going to play tonight."
Well, then you know what? Then they did exactly what they needed to do yesterday. Losing 3 in a row to that team and getting the doors blown off you. Like, not even close.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking at it. Where did it go? Jobu's in the snake pit says
Jobu's jockstrap.
He thinks they keep aging vets too long and not giving the younger players enough
part of it.
And we've talked about this in the past, not having the foresight to say, hey, this player is getting older. We talk about Bill Belichick as one of the greatest coaches of all time. Not just because of the X's and O's, but the ability to say, hey, you know what, sir? Love you. You're probably going to stink next year because you're a little bit older, going to move on from you. It's not personal. It's just business. And I think the Cardinals, because of the need to draw 3 million fans, it's harder to draw 3 million fans when you don't have a Paul Goldschmidt or Nolan Arenado playing every single day. Even if they aren't to the level of what you expect them to or need them to be, the notion, even us, we've said it all season long. If Paul and Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado figure it out, this team, we've said it all year long, which is why fans will show up or the expectation is that they will show up because, hey, man, if those two guys get going, anything could happen. When in actuality, you probably should have moved on from them last season when you stunk and gotten a haul. You could have gotten so much for Nolan Arenado from the Dodgers. They got a lot of stars. They got so many pitchers hurt and still have better starting pitching than most teams in baseball. Those guys could be here, but you didn't. You said, we're going to keep them because we need to draw these fans because if I don't have that name, who's going to show up? Who are the fans going to come to watch? And so I think that that's part of it as well. They want to keep those veterans around to keep fans coming in with the allure that eventually – it'll happen. It's going to happen at some point when it's probably not.
I think the standard has changed. We listened to the audio coming back from break into this segment and talked about 500 is not good enough for this particular franchise. So what has changed? The standard has changed because we're seeing that happen. Mike Matheny, when he took over, they went to the NLCS. They went to the World Series. They went back to the NLCS. In 2015, I think they won 100 games, had a really great offense. 2016, they missed the playoffs by 1 game. And then 2017, they missed the playoffs by 4 games. You're still playing meaningful baseball down the stretch. And then 2018, they got to the point where they were like, you know what? That's 2 years in a row where we haven't made the playoffs. That's not good enough. And now we're below 500. We're at a spot where we can't continue to keep doing this. That will be 3 seasons in a row where we miss the playoffs. We're at that point right now where, sure, Ollie Marmol, he'll probably be the manager heading into next season. Maybe he won't. Who knows? But right now, the standard has changed. The audio says it all.
It all feels very tired, doesn't it? It all feels very tired. It all feels it's Groundhog Day. It's Groundhog Day in the offseason. It's Groundhog Day when you get to the season. Even if they were competitive, it takes, like everybody talks about Schiltz magic. Schiltz had him in the playoffs. It took a 17-game winning streak.
Yes.
For that to happen. A 17-game winning streak for that to happen.
How likely is that to happen again?
It's very unlikely to happen again, especially when you're not great at anything. This all feels very watered down to me. The roster feels very safe. The decisions feel very safe. And you finally have a situation now where Milwaukee is better than you and has been better than you. Pittsburgh has young talent. Cincinnati has young talent. Chicago is middling, but if they're middling, they're on par with you then.
Yep.
The Dodgers are loaded. The Phillies are loaded. The Braves are underperforming because of injuries, but are loaded. You look around the National League, the Padres, loaded. Arizona has better young talent than you do. The National League has closed that gap from where you were in 2018 to now, and you have not made any sort of adjustments. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again. There's nothing new. There's nothing creative. It's very predictable. It's very safe. And you're now sitting here at 60-61, which, quite frankly, is probably where you should be based on your roster and your performance. It's all very meh. It sucks all the
You just wonder, though, like, hearing Bill DeWitt Jr. say that, and I remember that press conference. I remember it, like, live. And getting almost like chills listening to him say that. It was a bad day for Mike Matheny, which I was watching it, Mike's friend of mine.
Yeah.
And so you don't like to see that. So then you tune in. Well, what are they going to say about it? And then you get chills when the owner says 500 might be good in certain places, but not here, not in Cardinal Nation. You're like, okay, fair enough. Let's go, baby. Let's go. But now it's like, just get in the playoffs and we'll see what happens. Yeah. So it's gone from 500 is unacceptable to 500's fine. If we get a few more wins,
here or there,
we'll creep into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And if that's,
it's just weird to see the change.
You aren't going to win with that mindset. Like, you're not going to win a championship. Like, again, everybody wants to talk about, the Diamondbacks did it last year. okay, show me the last 10 years. Where one of the worst teams are able, show me the last 20 years. How many times this happened? Show me the last 30 years. It might be a handful of times, which means the other 25 years, it doesn't happen. The terrible teams, you know what they do? They go the hell home at the end of the season. They go spend time with their families, family vacation, traveling out of town, out of the country. That's what happens when you're a terrible team or when you're an average team. Generally speaking, you don't make a run because it ain't in you. And when it does, it's like, oh, this is magical. It feels wonderful. It does. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Probably not going to happen again. Not for another 10 years, 8 years, 15 years, whatever the case may be, because that's not how it goes. When you are a good team, no matter what sport it is, you generally beat the hell out of the bad teams, which is how your record continues to grow. When you're looking forward to those games. I know I'm going to get me one today. I know I'm getting one today. These guys stink. That's what you're looking for. So, again, to have the notion that the Cardinals are just get in and anything can happen, that's not how that usually works.
And to your point, Carey, I think what is unfortunate is that those trends of the worst team in the league in terms of playoff-wise, they have made the World Series in like the last 5 years. You look at last year, Diamondbacks. The year before that, the Phillies. In 2022, or 2021, the Braves, right? 88 wins. They won their division, but they still had the worst record in the National League out of all the playoff teams. 2019, the Washington Nationals, wild card team. Like, so you're seeing those trends as of recent, and I wonder if the Cardinals are looking at that rather than looking at what you said the last 30 years. Like, what are the odds of that happening, like 5 out of the last, 7 years or something like that?
Right. I think, too, though, when you bring up those teams, every single one of them had pitching. Arizona had pitching last year. Now, did it come together at the right time? Yeah. Like, you can't go back to the start of the season and say, last year, Arizona had the pitching necessary to make a deep run. You had guys that really started to pitch well throughout the year, and, they all came together. Philadelphia, we knew Philadelphia was going to be a problem with Nolan Wheeler right out the gates the one season. And they had struggled and struggled and struggled. They fired their manager, then caught fire. Atlanta, despite losing a couple of their key pieces, including Acuna, they had pitching. If you have pitching, you can go a long way. The Cardinals have pitching-ish. Like, it's always ish with them. They kind of have this. They kind of have that. They have gone for this team that's got a fair amount of depth, and then, okay, small margin of error. Goldschmidt and Arenado don't perform well. Well, we're screwed. Yeah, like it's a small, and maybe that's for every team. And I'm not seeing the forest through the trees. But
you're right, though. That is a lack of depth.
Like, there's nothing that's going.
If you're relying on two guys, and they have made such a difference in your lineup from a negative standpoint this year.
Yep. That's a problem.
Yeah.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We're going to play Hot Take or Hot Garbage next. So if you have a Hot Take or Hot Garbage statement, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Again, Hot Take or Hot Garbage next. Hot take. Time to play Hot Take or Hot Garbage here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and here's Andrew Marsh with your Hot Take or Hot Garbage statements.
All right, from the 636, while we are bashing the Cardinals, hot take or hot garbage, Miles Mikolas is the most unpredictable pitcher in the Cardinals rotation.
Oh, that's hot garbage.
That's hot garbage.
He's totally predictable. That's why they're hitting the ball so hard.
That's what
They know exactly where he's throwing it.
Damn.
What? Did
I don't think he's wrong.
No, I think you're right.
Did I answer the question wrong?
I think he answers it quite right. Yeah.
He's completely predictable. Yeah. That's the problem.
Who is the most unpredictable pitcher?
Sonny Gray.
Oh. Yeah.
Look at recently.
Your word is the best word for it. Uneven. Is that what you said?
Uneven.
He'll give you 9 strikeouts and give up four home runs.
Yep.
That's a hell of an outing.
It's unpredictable.
You take away those 4 home runs.
Yeah.
But 15 Ks.
2 starts ago, he was throwing Grace BBs.
Yeah, because he had
unbelievable game.
That's because the thing that you knew he was going to do, he did.
He did it.
I don't know if he did it before
He's
this.
tired to do it the next time. I don't know. I think he's the
Worn
most
down.
unpredictable.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I can see that.
From the 618, the Cardinals have given up on Nolan Gorman and should have moved him at the trade deadline if this was the plan with him. It seems like he is getting treated as a 30-year-old who is not playing well. He was a top 40 Major League Baseball prospect in 2022, had a 111 OPS plus between 22 and 23, and he led the Cardinals in home runs until August 3rd. He is now barely being used as a platoon bat and is only playing against righties when he hits lefties better than the last the last 2 years. Is that hot take or hot garbage?
Hot take. Hot take. If you know he's this, and you accepted him being this high strikeout, high home run guy, not hit for a lot of average, which, again, they've told me in baseball, Carey, you're old. Hitting for average doesn't matter. That was you, I think, one day.
I don't think he called you old.
Oh, you said I had an old man's mindset because I like Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, he did say
Tony,
that.
hit for average in all fields. I like that type of thing. He told me I was an old man, had an old man philosophy. Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
You. Didn't you tell me I was an old man one day?
Is that when you stood up and blew a hamstring, though?
That might have been. Yeah.
You're only a year older than me.
Tough to argue that one.
No,
Are you older than me? Yeah. But you're not an old man.
Nah, thank you. But yeah, I think, hot take. They are treating them poorly.
I think it's hot garbage. I think it's a revisionist take. Ooh. I think it's easy to sit here and say, well, they're not using them now. They should have got rid of them. You should have moved Dylan Carlson for Juan Soto when you had a chance. You know what I mean?
I don't think that was really a chance.
A 1-for-1.
Nope, that's...
No, that wasn't it.
No.
This actually goes into what Carey was saying earlier about the talent evaluation. It's knowing what you have in a player and being able to recognize that quickly. If you make quick decisions, yes, you might make the wrong decisions, but you might get ahead of it and increase your value of getting something bigger in return. So if you were to say, Nolan Gorman's not going to be anything more than what he is right now, but the rest of the league thinks he's still a hot commodity, we can get something in return.
Somebody right now would pay for him.
Not
Probably,
right now.
Yeah.
They would, because of the potential alone, and everybody always feels like
Left-handed power.
And wait till we get a hold of them.
I don't think it would be as much as it would have been last year, because last year it was still unknown. Now, when you get to see it, you're like, okay, we've seen it now. Mm-hmm. We've seen the flaws. If you didn't see the flaws, you would pay a higher price for what you believe you're getting.
Yeah.
Same thing with Paul Goldschmidt. Same thing with Nolan Arenado. Like, you've waited a year and allowed them because you expected them to play. So, are you at fault for that, or are they at fault for that? Either way, you're not going, in my opinion, you won't get what you would have gotten at this time last year, or trade deadline last year.
Do you think, going back to, I know you mentioned the Juan Soto phantom trade that we all wish would have happened.
And of course I'm joking, but... Yeah.
Well, Knowing that what we know now about the players that would have been involved in that trade, I'm going to assume that we all still make that trade for Juan Soto for what would have been, a year and a half?
It would have been half of this. No. Yeah, year and a half. Yes, year and a half, because he's a free agent at the end of this year. Yeah.
One, do the Cardinals get to the World Series with Juan Soto in 2022 with Albert and Yachty, that team?
No.
And are they better?
Didn't have the pitching.
I might disagree.
I disagree too. I think the starting pitchers were not an issue.
Okay.
In 2022,
Ryan Helsley came in and had a hand injury, which blew up that game.
I think we tend to look at one or two games, like Wainwright pitching well in the wild card game against the Dodgers, or Quintana pitching well against the Phillies, or who was it, Michaelis, who pitched game 2 of that series?
And he pitched really well.
And to say, well, pitching wasn't the problem. You get deeper into a series, into a postseason, if you don't have the dudes, they will get exposed. So how do we know that Quintana in game 1 of whatever series they're going to play doesn't get rocked?
Anthony.
But you had the dudes if you had Juan Soto.
I don't think Soto gets it. I don't think Soto gets it done. And I mean, look, we're doing this now with like Arenado and Goldschmidt from a couple of years ago, where we're like, oh, you got
at some point,
you got 2 guys. You need that. The 2 guys don't make an offense, as the Yankees are.
Anthony, Juan Soto.
Figure out.
Juan Soto, I think, changes your offense a little bit. Maybe
those guys are.
Wait a minute.
2-0 lead.
Those guys are epic.
Those guys.
I mean, if you have those dudes, then maybe. But you gotta have both of them.
In fairness, in 2022, I believe that was the MVP year for Goldschmidt.
There you go.
And Arenado was third. If you did add Soto in the middle of that batting order, like if you got 3, 4, 5.
Okay, all right.
Come on.
Okay, so let's just say they win the World Series.
Let's play this game.
Let's say they win
I
the
didn't
World
say
Series.
win the World. I said get to the World Series.
I said win.
Anthony's going with the win now.
Yeah.
Okay, they get to the World Series, okay?
Yes.
The question, as it relates to the trade, is whether or not the Cardinals were going to sign him.
I don't even care at that point if they win the World Series and
But if they only get to the World Series, is it worth it?
Anthony, I'd rather them get to the World Series than what I watched in 2022. You saw me, and you bring it up every single week, how I was pacing.
He was probably
back and forth. And now I don't even want to watch
about
the
you.
games
I
because
saw
they're
it.
that bad.
So I would say that it would be worth it for several reasons. One, look at what happened in 2023 anyways. The team just plummeted.
What were you giving up for Soto?
Jordan Walker.
Dylan Carlson.
I think Gorman.
I think you hold on to Mason
I think
Wynn.
you keep Wynn.
Okay, we're getting convenient, though.
We're not going to.
No.
They're not.
Yeah.
They wanted Taylor Motter, too.
Well, that's it. I'm not giving up Motter. He was too valuable.
But Gorman's probably a part of that. Walker and Dylan Carlson.
Gorman
and
is
a
the
pitcher,
trade.
and probably
It
a
would've been
pitcher.
Yeah.
If that's the trade, what say you?
I'm taking it. But it's easy to say that hindsight. It's 2020.
Yeah,
Right.
I
At
don't.
the time,
that's a lot.
At the time, you're giving up 4 pieces that you think are part of your future.
And you're giving up 2 bats that you think could maybe rival Soto.
Yeah.
In Walker and Gorman.
How's that working out?
It's not.
It's not, but again, it's revisionist history.
You know what, though? I think Juan Soto is a platoon player.
He'd be a platoon player on this team.
On this team, it would be for
Batting
sure.
against righties.
Yeah.
He'd get a lot from and he'd be a platoon player.
He's a 4th outfielder. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Last one here from the 618. Hot take or hot garbage? City SC will have better attendance by percentage of seats filled next year than the Cardinals will if Goldie or Arenado are still in the 2025 roster.
I think they'll have that anyway.
City SC will have that anyway. City SC, the soccer fans are
sell out
so
every game.
passionate here. They're gonna show up whether that team only posts draws or not. Like City SC among the You're talking about soccer, a passionate fan base. They're going to show up no matter what. Plus, it's still new.
Yeah.
So, City SC is going to outdraw
If we're
from
talking
an attendance.
percentage-wise?
Yeah, percentage-wise, they're going to outdraw every time.
I think they're doing that now, regardless.
Absolutely.
They are.
Now, 10 years of nothing but draws, soccer fans still going to show up.
No, Anthony, I was
Because
talking
they
about
have a point.
drawing fans.
Oh, I thought you were talking about throwing their underwear on there.
No, not
No.
draws. Those
Draws.
are draws.
Those are drawers.
Drawers. That's
Drawers are what you use to put
Yeah.
your drawers in.
That's getting complicated.
Anyways, soccer fans going to show up no matter what because they have a point. They have a point to prove. If I'm here, it shows that my sport matters, and it does. That's the thing. Like, it's ironic, right? Like, their sport already matters. It's the most popular sport in the world, but they feel as though that if they don't show up, it's like people can't believe. I already believe.
I think there'd be more people that showed up if we talked about them more.
I doubt it.
I don't think we're going to sway
I don't think we're going to sway it.
No.
I think we'll sway it from the other side, though.
People should go watch a City game.
It is
They
really
already
fun.
are.
Yeah, it is fun.
It is fun.
Great food.
They don't need us to sell
great
out.
environment. Great DJ.
I went to a game
But
last
we
year.
need to not. Never mind.
I went to a game last year
Yeah.
and had so much fun.
Of course you did.
They lost 4-0.
Did they?
They did.
That's
I
a
didn't even
tough
see them
loss.
score a goal, but I had a blast.
Of course. And you know what?
But they had chances.
They had a few.
There you go.
Well, they ran around.
Yeah.
They kicked that bleeping ball all over the pitch with their cleats and
Boots.
With their boots, excuse me,
Thank
with
you.
their boots. And that 4-0 loss was probably a lot closer than you thought.
4-0, Anthony.
4-0 loss.
Let me remind you, you are the terminology guy. I know, every now and then you'll have a slip up. I just
Yeah.
want to remind you.
That's
why
my
we're
fault.
here.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to punish myself by not talking about soccer for the rest of the show. Did the Blues overpay on their offer sheet for Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg? Soccer fan hates me. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and let me tell you about Window Nation's anniversary sale. Right now, they're giving you great value. If you buy 2 windows, you get 2 windows free, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. And that's because Window Nation is all about value. Window Nation values your satisfaction in their quality, service, and affordability, and they stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty. Reach out to them at 866-90NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. They can install that window in a day or less, and that window comes with a lifetime warranty. You don't have to worry about it. They have 90% customer satisfaction rate, and they are always looking to give you the best value for your windows, and they will get it done, again, in a day or less. So that's 2 windows. Buy 2, get 2 windows free. No issues, no problems. Get that window installed in 1 day or less. Again, that's 866-90NATION or go online at windownation.com. Lifetime warranty on the window. Can't beat that. Can't beat that. Online at windownation.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals were swept against the Cincinnati Reds. They lose 9-2 last night. They are now 60-61, one game under 500, and 4.5 games back of that final wild card spot. They'll invite the Los Angeles Dodgers to town. Miles Mikolas on the mound tomorrow night against the Dodgers, 7:15 first pitch. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to that podcast page, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Did the Blues overpay on their offer sheet for Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg? We're going to discuss that next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN, as Marcia told you in the Sports Center update. Did the Blues overpay their offer sheet for Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg? Jamie, you had said earlier that we'd get into this, and there's a reason why they may have overpaid, and it's a smart move by Doug Armstrong.
Yeah, so it actually, this whole segment, Marshy, it spawned from Elliot Friedman on his podcast, 32 Thoughts, and what he said about these offer sheets from Doug Armstrong. Here's Elliot Friedman.
One of the things that kind of happened was I had heard that Broberg was asking for from Edmonton a salary in the 1.8 range. That's kind of where he wanted to go. So if that's true, he just got basically 250% more than he was asking for from the Blues. So assuming that's the case, and I think that's in the ballpark, it makes sense, the Blues just gave him 250% more than he was asking for. Holloway, I heard, well, it depended. He had arbitration rights in a year, so they were talking about a 1-year deal, which could take him to ARB, or maybe a 2-year deal, which would take him past ARB. But assuming it was a 1-year deal, it was expected to be in about the 1-2 area, so he got almost 100% more than he was expecting. So these are massive raises, kind of poison pills, if you wish, that the Blues have given the Oilers.
So based off that, right, let's just do some fun math here. Real simple stuff. So if he's in the ballpark, let's say it's 1.8 to 2 million is what Broberg would have taken from the Oilers. I'll put it at 2. We'll go with the high end of it. And if Holloway was more of a 1.5, let's bump it up a little bit. That's a total of 3.5 million. Evander Kane, you put him on the LTIR, that's 5.1 million on the LTIR. You can more than cover this 3.5 million on your roster for your salary cap. But because Doug Armstrong came in and strategically overpaid for both of these guys, and I believe he way overpaid 250% more for Broberg because that's truly the player he wanted. That's his first pick of the two. I don't know that, but the information tells me that that's what the target is. Because that player alone, being on the fact that there's still $341,000 over the cap right now, the LTIR money is not enough to keep both players. So in a smart world, Stan Bowman would say, okay, we will match the Holloway contract, and we'll put that Holloway contract under the LTIR money, and then we still have a little bit of wiggle room because the Oilers still have some contracts to sort out. They only have 21 contracts for a 23-man roster. They've got some work to do. So whether that's a young player that makes the team that now will have an NHL contract or 2 young players that make the team, you're still going to have enough cap space to be able to even have them on your roster. So you need a little bit of wiggle room there, which is why Army went in with the massive inflated offer so that I believe under no circumstance can the Oilers retain both players. I don't think they can match both players. Not unless Stan Bowen does something like massively creative and finds a dance partner to take on a whole chunk of change that I just don't think that's going to happen. But that's why Army did it. It's a very strategic, ruthless move. It's overpaying for a player. When you're paying $2.5 million more for a player than what he was really worth, there's a reason for it. One, you believe in the player. You think he's going to be everything that you need him to be at $4.5 million. And two, you want to price him out of range for the Oilers to match that offer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that when you're operating like this and you're trying to get creative and you know that it's not, you can't have a full rebuild, not with the contracts you currently have on your roster. You have to get creative. And I think that's what Doug Armstrong is doing. And I thought he did it a year ago, too, when he brought in Kasperi Kapanen and he brought in Jacob Vrana. Thank you. If you have some spots in your roster, why not fill them? Why not roll the dice on some of the high ceiling, low floor players? Mm-hmm. Ultimately, they may crash, but you're going to get them at a fraction of the price. And if they do hit, you're going to benefit greatly. It's not unlike, in my opinion, what the Royals did a year ago by signing Aroldis Chapman to a one-year deal. They flipped him well before the deadline and got Cole Ragans, who's now their ace. You have to take chances like that from a creative standpoint. I think that's what Army has done. I think it's been brilliant. Well, whether or not they'll work out, I don't know. But
so we get a text here from the 636 says, I just can't believe we are overpaying for another defenseman. This is a 23-year-old defenseman who was drafted 8th overall. Like that, he projects to be a stud defenseman at some point.
Right. And understand why you're overpaying him.
And you're overpaying for that reason, but you're also, if you're talking to the agent, if this gets to where the offer is accepted and the Oilers walk away and he becomes a Blue, now if you're Army, you talk to the agent and say, listen, I obviously overpaid for your guy here. Mm-hmm. So the next time we go back to the table, mm-hmm. we're going to regulate this a little bit. We're going to correct the market on this a little bit because you can't expect that the next contract he's getting $8 million or something. No.
Right.
That was my next question.
Yeah. The next contract, he might stay level at 5 or 4.5 for another 2 years or whatever it is that you give him. You know? And I think the agent at that point be like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, what do we care? It's fine. Now, if he outperforms certain players and earns a $6 million paycheck, then fine. Then great. Everybody wins then because you have a young defenseman that is playing really well,
right.
and you're paying market value for him now at that time.
Yep.
And if he stays to where he's just in the top 4 and he's not like a difference maker, but he's playing really well, then you stay right back in that 4.5 million range.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Marcia, any thoughts there?
I was just going to say, I think the way that the contracts line up, where you can actually fit that in financially when some of these other defensemen do come off the books, you'll feel a little bit more comfortable.
Well, Nick Leddy's got one more year on his deal, and then he's unrestricted free agent. He's at $4 million. Yep. So if you're comfortable with Broberg to step up and play with Colton Parayko a year from now, then at 4.5, you're fine with it.
Mm-hmm. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We have NFL 4 downs, including some thoughts on Marsh's struggling Vikings. Oh, no. That's next at 101 ESPN. 4 downs here on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh.
First down.
Well, Anthony, you teased it last segment. Unfortunately, J.J. McCarthy is out for the season following knee surgery, while Sam Darnold was projected to start for the Vikings. At least the threat of McCarthy taking over at some point is now gone. Can Sam Darnold resurrect his career in Minnesota?
I think he can. Why not? We thought Geno Smith was completely done. And 2 years ago, he wound up playing very well, got himself a contract. Sam Darnold has only had 1 year of coaching. Let's be real with that. And that was last year with Kyle Shanahan. He goes to Minnesota. He's got Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell knows what he's doing. I think he's a really good coach. I think he's a bright offensive line. You got Justin Jefferson there. Apparently, Jordan Addison's ankle injury isn't going to be as serious as initially feared. Mm-hmm. Aaron Jones is there. And the defense got better last year under Flores. So I think he winds up in a good spot with good coaching. I don't think he lights up the league. I don't think he winds up being a franchise quarterback. But could he be Geno Smith? I think so.
I hope so.
You would hope that. He's only 27 years old. He's not an old man. He feels like he's been in the league for a long time. I think a lot of people remember the was it a Sunday night or Monday night game where he was saying, "I'm seeing ghosts," and
it was a Monday night against the Patriots.
They shouldn't have aired that because that's not what he meant. But he was not. I don't have really high expectations for Sam Darnold. I don't know if I've seen anything from him that makes me believe. Geno Smith was even with that was unexpected. He's in a great place, able to run the ball, didn't turn the ball over. He actually looked well. He looked really good when he was filling in for Russell Wilson the year before. Mm-hmm. And I was like, the Seahawks might feel comfortable with him playing. So I don't know if Sam Darnold, I mean, they drafted a quarterback in the first round for a reason. Mm-hmm. Like, they didn't expect him to be their answer for the future. So I think they've had to
Nor should they.
Exactly. So they've had to make this shift because of the injury to J.J. McCarthy, but I would assume it's going to look similar to what it's looked like his entire career.
Dan Orlovsky talked about this today, and he said that, you know, if Sam Darnold can play with some conviction in his game, that he can absolutely be a player that at least has the Vikings in the playoff conversation. Not that they're going to make the playoffs, but just be in the conversation.
Was Dano drinking the same thing as Carey?
he may have. But he also said that J.J. McCarthy, it could be the best thing for him to sit out. And now the question is it's out of question now. He will be out for the season, so he can take a year to essentially learn the offense. Now, he won't be getting reps, and he mentioned that, but he will have that time to kind of digest what he's seeing at the NFL level.
Those reps are not the same. I can watch film all day. Until you see a guy that is 300 pounds and is running almost as fast as you, it won't register.
Pat Mahomes, he sat out the first year.
No. He was on the field. He actually practiced. Had opportunities to
Pat Mahomes sat out the first year.
He did, Marshy. Tom Brady sat out the first year.
No, guys, it's different when you get to practice every day and get to see action.
Did they play?
They played some games. No. They got opportunities. They got in the games.
No.
Mahomes played week 17.
He did.
Not Brady.
And they knew, the Chiefs knew they didn't need to bring Alex Smith back. J.J. McCarthy's not going to get those reps watching film.
We're going to rally around Darnold.
Second down.
All right, Anthony's Falcons acquired Matthew Judon from the Patriots in exchange for a third-round pick on Wednesday. Considering Atlanta was heavily criticized for taking Michael Penix Jr. over one of the pass rushers in April, does the selection of a franchise quarterback look better now?
People aren't going to like the selection. Like, people are always going to pan that selection because you signed Kirk Cousins to a massive contract. I understand that, but if you think about it, that was something they were supposed to get at that spot, right? Like, everybody had a pass rusher mocked to them at number, 7, 8, whatever it was. And now they turn around, they have a franchise quarterback, and they traded a third-round pick for Matthew Judon. We'll see if he gets a contract extension. I think it does lessen the importance or at least lessen some of the criticism when they turn around and they get the one thing that everybody said they should have gotten.
Yeah.
And they got Matthew Judon.
Right.
I don't care who you got at 8. They're probably not going to be to Judon's level.
Probably not.
So that I think it's a great move. They just turned around and signed Justin Simmons too to an 8-year contract. $8 million contract. It's a 1 year. It's a 1 year deal. Oh my gosh.
That's a heck of a deal.
1 year deal. Whoa. 1 year. $8 million. It's a pair up with Jesse Bates. So it's another area of concern that they just addressed. You can't pass rushers are hard to find, but not as hard to find as franchise quarterbacks. It's always going to look stupid that they gave Kirk Cousins all that money and then drafted Michael Penix. But a year from now, 2 years from now, they're going to have their long-term quarterback already in place. Because I do think that Penix is going to be a franchise guy.
I think the Falcons are doing some things the right way. It looks like they are making some good decisions. People will not like the Penix draft because you always feel like you can get something to help your roster in the right now. But that roster is actually...
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. Like, they got some guys, and then the addition of Judon and Justin Simmons, they're going to be a really good team. Like, I think they will be a good team. Good for you, Anthony.
Thank you, Carey.
Yeah,
I feel good about this.
You should.
Coming off that 2017 Super Bowl win.
No. We've been over this. They didn't win.
No. Okay.
Yeah, but they could win this year.
Come on, Carey.
Win what?
The division? Yeah.
They might win a division.
That division stinks.
It
No
does.
offense, Anthony.
None taken.
taken.
I'm glad it stinks because I think we're talking about them winning the division. So,
Where do you ultimately predict Brandon Ayuk will play in 2024?
Wide receiver.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's a good call.
For me, when I'm building a team, he profiles as a wide receiver. So I think that's... Guys, where would you play him?
I would play him at wide receiver.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Jamie, I think you're spot on with this.
Thank you.
Shout out to Tanisha and the Snake Pitch. He's a huge 49ers fan. I think he stays in San Francisco. I think they figure it out. I think they work out a deal that's favorable for both San Francisco and
what I'm hearing.
and Ayuk, and he stays there.
And he probably wants to stay in San Francisco.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go to a losing team.
Pittsburgh is the other option. That is a winning
Middling
franchise.
team. My
What are you
bad.
talking about? They were in the playoffs last year.
The Steelers might as well be the Cardinals.
Steelers make the playoffs.
Right around 500. Mike Tomlin. Now he's winning.
You think you know a guy?
Out of all the things he has ever said, that had to hurt the most.
That might have been. I didn't even have a comeback for it. I thought about it for a few seconds, and all I could feel was pain.
Man. He had nothing to say.
I had
Sorry,
nothing
Carey.
there.
You didn't deserve that.
I did not.
Okay?
I
I
did
think
not
deep
deserve
down
that.
he's like, damn.
Sorry, guys. I was
There
just
might
getting
be some
revved up
truth
for the
to that.
gauntlet.
Yeah, it's true.
that
You
is
got
true.
You got a big save coming up, hopefully.
Yes.
So
Well, we got one more question in NFL 4 downs, and then we'll need you to put on your
save face.
Helsley.
Yeah.
Which
Last time
version?
when is the last time he pitched?
Well, you have to have the lead for him. He might not pitch for a while.
All right, guys. Matt Milano of the Bills tore his biceps in practice on Tuesday and might miss the season. Are the Bills in danger of missing the playoffs due to their offseason losses?
That sucks for him because that'd be 2 years in a row. He got injured last year. I think he
Week
tore
5.
his ACL last year. Was it an ACL for him?
I thought he broke his leg.
Did he break his? It was something low. Yeah,
His
it was
lower
something.
half.
Yeah,
My goodness.
Lower body injury.
There you go.
And he was a guy that was a Pro Bowler in 22. Like he's their guy.
He's their guy
in the
defensively.
middle of the defense. And so you talk about losing him. Tre'Davious White is gone. He got injured last year.
The whole
That
secondary
defense-
is gone.
Yes, that defense looked completely different without Matt Milano in the middle. And then you lost Stephon Diggs. You decided to get rid of him and move on from him. I don't have high expectations for the Buffalo Bills this year. They probably won't win the division. It'll probably be the Dolphins. They'll finally figure out a way to win the division and play well in December and January. But this is a tough blow for this team.
Dude, they always have a shot because of Josh Allen. I actually think offensively, their use of the 2 tight ends last year, it was effective, and they were efficient last year. So I think they can get by with some of the losses they had on offense. But, dude, they cannot get by completely replacing their secondary. All 4 guys are gone. They've completely overhauled their secondary. 2 of their guys, I think, are 6th-round picks from a couple of years ago. And then you lose Milano, forget it. I think it's going to be a real tough road to hoe. If the Jets weren't in the same division, I would declare that the Bills, they're done now. But I have to root against Aaron Rodgers. So,
You think in terms of who finishes last? Is that what?
No. In terms of the Bills making the playoffs,
Oh.
if the Jets weren't in that division,
I would say they're probably not going to make the playoffs.
I would say so too. But again, I've got to keep this up with just my hatred for Aaron Rodgers' face. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers.
Ooh, a lot of pressure, boys.
Nope.
He's going to save us from Jared next in the Gauntlet on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, our guy Stewie's on the line. And Jamie, I always love calling Stewie because he always has a way to figure out certain things, right? He always has a way around certain challenges that people might face. Stewie, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Anthony?
Doing great.
Okay, so we had an ESPN listener call me up and said, hey, I want to refinance my house. I want to take cash out. We're going to save him, get this, over $1,000 a month in cash flow. But he was very, very worried because the condition of the house isn't great. He's a slob. There are things all over the place. The house is okay, but the walls are all sprayed up. The kids crayon the tables. He said, I'm afraid to do an appraisal on the house because it's going to come back below average condition. I said, listen, let me work on this for you. We ran it through the system, and guess what, Anthony? No appraisals required. He's been holding out because he's been worried about this the whole time. We don't have to do an appraisal on the property. He's getting his cash that he needs to do the upgrade of his house. The debt, say $1,000 a month on top of it. He's in great shape, and he says, you know what? I should have called earlier.
Yeah, he should have, as well as any of our listeners right now who are thinking about any of those things, whether it's debt consolidation, refinancing, or you're looking to purchase a home. Stewie has to be your first call. Absolutely has to be your first call. And we make it easy by giving you his number. That number is 314-324-4440.
Again, that number is 314-324-4440.
And if you can't remember that number, you can't write it down, just Google the bagel loan. Stewie, thanks for everything.
Have a great day, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
us your opinion on the Air Comfort Service heating, cooling, and insulation text line at 314-399-9646 on 101 ESPN. Warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
All right, here we go. Round 4 of the Gauntlet here in the Fast Lane, where it's 4:04. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Jared is back for a 4th consecutive day. He beat me, he beat Carey, and yesterday he beat our guy Andrew Marsh, setting up a Gauntlet championship against Jamie Rivers, who's up for a save for the Fast Lane. Jared, how are you, buddy?
Doing great, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. So, word has it that a lot of people are listening right now.
Yeah, before it was just kind of, let's just keep it low key. I told mom, dad, my sister, and my buddy Joe, who listens, and it's spread to a lot more people now.
All right, fair enough. Are you nervous or are you confident?
I was honestly more nervous the first 2 days. Yesterday, I finally felt confident, so I feel pretty good.
Okay. Well, you seemed confident yesterday. Jamie Rivers, any last words for Jared before you get into the cone of silence?
Good luck, Buttercup.
Wow.
Any last word for the wheel?
Nope. The wheel knows what to do.
Okay.
All right, good luck,
I like
Jared.
that strategy.
Good luck to you, Jamie.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, so Jamie is heading into the cone of silence right now. Jared, go ahead and spin that wheel.
Spin the wheel, Marshy.
So we've got football and baseball were the 2 categories that Jared had wanted before. I think, what do we got?
Jared, you wanted football?
Yes, sir.
You got it.
Wow, there you go. You got football. All right.
Okay.
So some people were kind of complaining about the fact that we spun the wheel random yesterday, and it got random. A lot of people, it's got to be random now. I wonder how they feel now that Jared got the sport that he wanted, which is football.
I'm happy.
There you go. All right. So you never know, because football covers everything.
Mm-hmm.
It covers
Exactly.
Battlehawks. It covers NFL. Covers college. So 4 questions, Jared, all worth 2 points. If you ask for the options, those are worth 1 point. A Gauntlet trophy is on the line. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Question number 1. Which college football conference includes Hawaii, Utah State, and Air Force?
That is the Mountain West Conference. Final answer.
Question number 2. The Backyard Brawl is a rivalry matchup between an ACC team and a team in the Big 12. Name these 2 teams.
Okay, the Backyard Brawl, ACC, and the Big 12, you said, correct?
Yep.
Okay. I believe the Backyard Brawl is between the Pitt Panthers and the West Virginia Mountaineers. Final answer.
Question number 3. The Demon Deacons come from which ACC university?
Wake Forest. Final answer.
And finally, nicknamed the Little Apple, name this college football team that plays their games in Manhattan.
That is Kansas State University. Final answer.
And suddenly Carey and I are like, Jared, well done. Jamie's walking in from the cone of silence right now. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
That was pretty quick.
Does it always make you nervous when you realize how quick?
I'm going to be a lot more nervous when I find out the category.
All right.
Because if it was hockey and it was that quick, maybe it didn't go all that great.
Okay.
If it was one of the ones that he wanted and it was that quick, maybe it went really good.
Can I tell you something?
Please.
Pack a lunch.
Yeah.
So yesterday, we caught some grief from some listeners that did not like how we spun the wheel.
Okay.
Just kind of seeing things out with the wheel. It spun random. And those listeners declared we should go with random today. one of the categories, because there were two categories Jared wanted, baseball and football.
Yep.
He got one of those categories today.
Oh, fantastic. I'm really happy for him.
Which one don't you want? If it were baseball or football, which one? You don't want baseball?
No.
Okay, good.
It's football.
There you go.
All right.
Ready?
I feel like I got a puncher's chance here.
All right, here we go. Which college football conference includes Hawaii, Utah State, and Air Force?
It's Mountain. Mountain West Conference? Final answer.
The Backyard Brawl is a rivalry matchup between a team in the ACC and a team in the Big 12. Name these two teams.
I know this one. That's Pittsburgh and West Virginia. I feel good about that one.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, final answer. Don't look at me like that, Anthony.
I was just waiting for you to say final
you
answer.
Get that smug look on your face.
Nah, you got that smug look on your face.
Thank you.
Question number 3. The Demon Deacons come from which ACC university?
Wake Forest. Final answer. Feeling better about myself here.
Question 4. Nicknamed the Little Apple.
Oh, boy.
Name this college football team that plays their games in Manhattan.
Little Apple, huh? Well, it's not NYU, I can tell you that. I feel like I have to shoot, but I have no idea. I shouldn't say that. Maybe I do with the options, but I feel like if you take the options, my guy Jared, when he cut through this like a hot knife through butter earlier, so I don't know it, though. Off the top of my head. Give me the options.
Kansas State, Kansas, Kentucky.
Okay. Not where I was headed. I know it's not Kentucky. I'll go Kansas State. Final answer.
All right. Let's go over these. Jared versus Jamie. Gauntlet trophy on the line. Football was the category. We're going to go right down the list. Question 1. Which college football conference includes Hawaii, Utah State, and Air Force? Jamie, you said Mountain West. Jared, you said Mountain West. Correct answer is
Mountain West.
Neither of you used the options. We get a 2-2 tie. The Backyard Brawl is a rivalry matchup between a team in the ACC and a team in the Big 12. Name these two teams. Jamie, you said, I know this one. This is Pittsburgh and West Virginia. Jared, you said, give me a second. I know it. Then you said Pittsburgh and West Virginia. Correct answer is
Pittsburgh in West Virginia.
Neither of you used the options. We have a 4-4 tie.
Sick.
The Demon Deacons come from which ACC university? Both of you took 3.8 seconds to say this one. Wake Forest is what you both answered.
Mm-hmm.
Correct answer is
Wake Forest.
Neither of you used the options. We have a 6-6 tie. 6-6 tie. Nicknamed the Little Apple. Name this college football team that plays their games in Manhattan. A little bit of a theme today. Jamie, you said Kansas State. Jared, you said Kansas State.
No.
Correct answer is?
It is Kansas State.
That's correct. So, we know what we do. We say the name. Jared.
You have chosen wisely.
Jared did not need the options. Jared did not need the options on Kansas State. He wins 8-7 against Jamie in an epic battle.
That was amazing.
That was incredible.
Awesome.
Jamie, you got nothing to feel bad about. But Jared, congratulations. Let's start with you first. Jared, congrats, man. You went through the gauntlet unscathed. You got your family listening. Congratulations. Carey even stood up for you, man.
That's great.
Nice job.
That was a gauntlet for the ages.
Was a good
Hey. Nah. I'm requesting a urine sample, okay?
Jared, when you stop by the studio, you're going to have to give us a urine sample.
Yeah. And I want you to personally hand it to Anthony.
I won't be here that day, but Jared, feel free to give it to somebody else. No, Jared, congratulations, man. Well done.
That was really awesome.
Thank you, guys. This was a lot of fun. Jamie, you absolutely gave me a heart attack when you ripped through those 3 questions.
I was like, oh, crap.
Oh,
Nice job, man.
Good job, Jared. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you, guys, for the last 4 days. It was a lot of fun. You guys do an amazing job. Don't change anything on the show. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys giving me a chance to play. Thank you again.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you listening. Yeah, congrats. And when hopefully you have some time to stop by, we'll give you your trophy and take some photos with you too, Jared. So we appreciate you listening. Thanks, man.
Yep, sounds good. See you guys then.
All right. Just listen. You have nothing. I mean, when he went eight Cobb there, I'm like, this is over. This is over. So you gave him a battle.
You were going to have to take 2 options for sure, but you ran through the first 3. And
the first one, I was like, is it Mountain? Then I'm like, that. And I'm like, it's Mountain West.
You had no margin for error, and you got to the last one. Obviously, once you asked for the options, it was done. But
I just did process of elimination for the last one. I had no idea.
That was like
they play in Manhattan, Kansas.
Yeah.
So
it's like the 2024 Stanley Cup final.
It was.
We thought it was over.
But
then it wasn't.
Yep.
And then it was.
Damn it.
So nice job there. Nice job to Jared. Man.
Oh, well.
That was fire.
It's our second Gauntlet winner in the year 2024.
Hey, not bad. It's August 15th. So
Not
that's
great,
the second
though, guys.
one.
Let's be real.
It's not. You guys counted Big Earn, we wouldn't be here. But
Don't listen to Anthony, Jamie. You should feel bad.
They got a text from the 314. Tiebreaker? Not today.
Not today. Yeah. All right. Congrats, Jared. It's fascinating on 101 ESPN. Obviously, we have a new Gauntlet contestant tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Are we seeing the Cardinals ruin the career and perhaps the life of Jordan Walker? That's next on 101 ESPN.
There are certain players who are the exception to rules, and not everyone's treated equally in professional sports. It just is what it is. I look at Jordan Walker, and he is being treated like he's not a first-round pick. He's not Jackson Holloway. Look at Jackson Holloway. They couldn't wait to get him back to the big leagues and then commit to him. He's not a platoon player. He's a left-handed bat. He's better against righties than he is lefties, but he's not terrible against lefties. He's playing every day for a team that's in second place in the AL East, and they want to win the World Series this year. Why are they doing that? They want Jackson Holloway to be one of the faces of their organization. They're committed to him. Jordan Walker, I think everyone in St. Louis believed, was being treated the same way. And there was a commitment early on. I think we're wondering now, is that commitment still there? And if it's not, and he's being coined as a platoon player, man, that will alter the trajectory of his career.
That was Greg Amsinger, the one and only Greg Amsinger, right here on 101 ESPN. He joins the opening drive with Randy Carricker and Brooke Grimsley and our guy Dan McLaughlin each and every week. Greg does a fantastic job on MLB Network, and I thought he raised great points about Jordan Walker. I don't know if the comparisons are just to Jackson Holloway, but nonetheless,
well, if
they are,
what number was Walker in the draft?
17th, I think.
Okay, so first overall is Jackson Holloway. Yeah. It's a pretty big difference.
But I will say this. Jackson Holloway's playing for a much better team. Like they have had to find a way to get him in the lineup. The Cardinals don't have to find a way.
Hitting home runs in 3 straight games helps them too.
No, I'm just saying, like, look at the roster for Baltimore.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They had to figure out, they had to find a way to get Jackson Holloway in the lineup, right? The Cardinals are finding a way to get Jordan Walker out of the lineup for no reason. So to Greg's point, maybe the comparisons are, maybe there are some crossovers there. Either way, the Cardinals, I don't understand the reasoning at all for not having this kid in the lineup when you stink offensively.
It really is weird that you sent him down for everyday at-bats. He got everyday at-bats. He found himself into a nice groove. It was, just killing the baseball.
Yeah.
And then you break the consistency. The everyday at-bats are gone now. Like he's being used as a platoon player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
He was 21st overall, by the way. Sorry.
Okay.
Not 17.
In this next series against the Dodgers, the only starting left-handed pitcher that you're going to face is Clayton Kershaw.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean he's only going to play one of those games too?
If it's up to the Cardinals, yeah. Which is stupid.
I'll go back to something we said earlier in the show. Luken Baker should be on your bench then as your right-handed bat, not Jordan Walker. And it's nothing to do with Jordan Walker's performance. It has everything to do with this young man has to stay consistently going. Keep him at the bat, on the field. Like, don't just let him sit there. Batting practice, not the same. Hitting in the cages, not the same. It's just not. There's no pressure at those moments. And, Carey brought it up earlier. He got up for his one at-bat yesterday. So much pressure on him. He pops one up for an easy out, and he goes down and wants to smash the bat off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That body language tells me that this kid is worried that every at-bat is either going to make or break him. You can't play baseball. You can't play any sport that high-strung about what you're doing. You'll never be relaxed. You'll never find your groove, and you'll just always be anger and stress. And this is a 22-year-old kid, and you're doing that to him just because he feels like if he hits a home run there or gets a base hit, he'll get to play the next game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a foolish way of handling him.
No, I agree. It reminds me, real quick, Carey, of Mike Matheny, who we all love and admire and appreciate. It reminds me though of how he went about it with some of the young guys. Colton Wong talked about it. Randall Grichuk talked about it. Not knowing if they're going to be in the lineup the next day if they strike out the previous game. You're right. It's no way to handle the development of a young player.
You guys don't understand baseball. I mean, when you watch the Cardinals, they're clearly playing at a high level, and those players have earned the right to play every day, and Jordan should be sitting on the bench.
You've refreshed that coffee again?
If you watch the games, if you watch the games, clearly he's not. I mean, the players are playing better, right? Cardinals have won 5, 6, 7 in a row.
Jamie, I got Jamie.
Correct?
I got this.
Like they
I got it.
No. Because
Carey.
I watched the games and the guys in right field, left field, the outfield, the corner outfield spots, they are hitting right-handed and left-handed pitching at such a great level that they are the ones that play every day. And so now you have Jordan. He's forced to be a bit.
Carey, that was Spencer Steer. I know the uniforms. They both have Reddit. That was Steer.
That wasn't the Cardinals?
No. You were watching. I know you watched the games, man, but there was the Reds.
I was confused.
Yeah. No, the Cardinals have been awful.
And Friedel? He doesn't.
Yeah, no, he's not a Cardinal.
He's a Red, too.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
The red uniforms.
Right. No, we get it. Yeah, it was the white and the red.
The color schemes.
Yeah.
So similar.
The other team
That's
that
the
you
only
watched,
thing.
that was the Cardinals.
And the only thing that's similar is the color scheme.
Right. Yeah.
Well, why isn't he playing if he's on the other team?
That's kind of what we're. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
It is stupid. What are we doing?
I don't get it at all, man.
You're not winning games. He's up. He could potentially give you something that the other guys clearly are not giving. What are we doing?
Well, what's really going to tick me off is if they start off the Dodgers series. It's Tyler Glasnow and Michaelis on the bump for Friday's game.
Good luck.
No, but it'll really tick me off if they don't play him against Glasnow. Because you just got absolutely beaten to a pulp in 3 games against the Reds.
Yeah.
Just let him play. That John Denton article, he was talking about how against the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw is the only lefty. And then when they go against the rest of the Dodgers and the Twins, it's going to be all righty. So he's going to be sitting on the – essentially, that's what I got out of it. Unless he hits 3 home runs against Clayton Kershaw, and then maybe he'll keep playing. Maybe that's what it will take.
That's a tough way to go.
Yeah. But essentially, he's going to be relished to a bat that comes off of the bench when they decide to throw a left-handed pitcher out there.
Yeah, no pressure there at all. Here, kid, here's your one at bat. Go do damage.
Yep.
And it would be obviously I was joking. It would be one thing if this team was winning and the players that are playing in those positions are having success. Then you know what? You wouldn't have brought him up. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't have said, okay, hey, we need help in the outfield. You know why you need help? Because the guys you have there aren't performing well enough. The guy you do have in left field has to go play second base because that guy isn't performing well enough. So what do? You know what? We're still going to keep giving him a chance. Why? Because they've shown you this season that they are worth that opportunity versus a young man who has been hitting the ball extremely well. Baseball is extremely streaky from what everyone has also told me. So if you're hitting the ball well, you're probably seeing the ball really well. There's going to come a point where maybe you aren't seeing it as well. But the repetitions of doing it every single day in live action, it tends to help.
Yeah.
And so, sit him on the bench and wonder why he doesn't have success. And then trade him for
a Rays
reliever.
Yep, there you go. All right, it's a fast. It all comes full circle. It really does. It's a fast line on 101 ESPN. If you have a question for us, send it to the Air Comfort Service tax line 314-399-9646. We'll have our Sports Six Pack next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals lost to the Cincinnati Reds last night by a final score of 9-2. In fact, they were swept in Cincinnati, and we've talked about that all day long. They are 60-61 on the year, 4.5 games back of that final wild card spot. The Cards will take on the Dodgers tomorrow at Busch. Miles Michaelis on the mound for the Redbirds, 7:15. First pitch. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so if you have a question you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy. Together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
All right, time for the Sports Six-Pack here on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh.
Question number one.
All right, gentlemen, Aaron Judge hit his 300th home run. It's a lot of home runs for Aaron Judge. From the 314, where is Aaron Judge on the path to being in the Albert/Miggy tier of right-handed hitters since 2000? Is he there with them, still a year or two behind, or not close yet?
He's got 300 home runs? What Albert has, 703?
Yes.
Would he come in last?
Yeah. 300 is good.
Good day. No, good day.
Call me when he gets to halfway at 350.
Yeah, that's a good call.
That'll probably be All-Star break next year.
He's a phenomenal baseball player. Let's not make any bones about it here. He's a fantastic baseball player, but for him to be mentioned in the same breath as those guys, does he project to maybe be like that? I don't know. That's an awful lot of home runs. 700 home runs is ridiculous.
That's a truckload. Yep.
But he's
been phenomenal.
And he's one of the most dangerous offensive players in all of baseball.
He's going to win the MVP this year. No?
Aaron Judge?
Yeah.
I mean, he certainly has a case for it. So does Bobby Witt.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. Bobby Witt Jr.
He got more home runs, more RBIs. And batting averages, I think, is really close.
Okay, all right. Just back down there.
I'm just saying.
Fair enough.
He's really good.
Holy smokes. He's he's certainly carving into some of their history, but Jamie's right. I mean, 703 home runs from Albert is just
that's a lot.
That's ridiculous.
I saw a side-by-side comparison of the two's first 9 years in the bigs, and Albert beat him by every single. It wasn't even. I mean, it was kind of close in certain categories, but you look at the two. I believe it was from Baseball Reference. Every single one of Albert's statistics were highlighted in green. That means that person has more, and so. Obviously Aaron Judge is a great ball player, but we still have a lot of time left.
Absolutely. Hey, can I amend something here? JP called me out on Twitter, and it's actually a really good call out. He said, what the F are you talking about? The Bills didn't lose 4 starters in the secondary. Benford and Douglas played literally the entire year, and even Poyer and Hyde were out hurt. Basically, it's just the safeties. White hasn't played for 2 years. He's right. The nickel corner Johnson, who I wasn't referring to, I was actually referring to the 2 corners and the safeties. He's right. Based on the injuries and things like that, the Bills are replacing both safeties, not all 4 starters in the secondary. So, JP, I apologize. I was wrong on that. If you're still listening, still a huge deal.
Rasul Douglas wasn't there, was he?
Rasul Douglas was not there. Oh, yeah, he was. He was. Yeah.
Okay.
He played half the year.
No.
Still, 2 significant pieces there swapping out in their secondary with the 2 safeties. But I was wrong when I said they were replacing the whole secondary, so I want to amend that. So JP, good call out. Thank you.
Aaron Judge, although not in the 700 club yet, he is the fastest player ever to 300 home runs. 955 games.
That was the big deal last night. Yeah. Or was it last night, 2 nights ago? I don't know. Guy hits a home run every night. Basically, he's like Albert Pujols.
Whoa!
My bad.
Question number 2.
He's older.
I know.
He's an older player.
He's 32.
He's too old.
He's not too old.
He's 32.
He's too old to take your house.
What?
Too old to take his house.
Yes.
Go ahead, Marsh.
From the 314, why would fans root for Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt? Is it because they're good at baseball? Everyone is good at baseball in Major League Baseball. Fans root for relatable stars. Do you think these two are relatable stars?
Jamie, you want to take this one?
I don't know if they're relatable. I mean, Goldie's pretty relatable. He's a quiet, laid-back guy. You know, I don't know. Nolan Arenado, I have no idea what goes on inside that cranium of his. So, I don't know if they're relatable. I don't think they're unrelatable. Goldie seems way more relatable, though, to me. You?
I think they're relatable if you...
If you what?
One of the appeals was that these guys are just all about baseball, right? Mm-hmm. They are the quintessential Cardinals in that they're all about baseball. They don't really care about the limelight and all that stuff. I think that still stands. But if you're going to make a lot of money anywhere and you're not going to perform, you will not appeal to a large portion of the fan base.
That's true.
That's just the way it is. And maybe it's just I've been here, you know, longer than anywhere, so I feel this way, especially about here. But it's the case here. If you make a significant amount of money, I saw it with Matt Holloway, who had a great career and he was a great Cardinal, but people couldn't stop bringing up not everybody in the fan base, but a portion of it couldn't stop bringing up the fact that he was making $100 million and he didn't hit a home run every day. Like there is a portion of the fan base that will always think that way. So when you have guys that are making a lot of money and are underperforming, they're not going to be relatable to that group.
I think that's because you have the expectation of, you saw Albert Pujols. Like, that's the expectation. If you're making X amount of dollars, we expect this level of production.
Yes.
And if you aren't giving us this level of production, then why are you making this level of the contract? Why are you making that much money? And that's probably, you know, with Matt Holloway. He wasn't Albert Pujols, but who is?
Right.
It's unfortunate. Like, he's one of the best players to ever play the game.
True that.
Question number 3.
Well, speaking of the fan base, the 618 wants to know, do you think there is a personal vendetta against the fan base by the front office? Their words, actions, and explanations, or lack thereof, almost comes off as wanting to build resentment with the fan base.
I don't think that's the goal. I think that's what's happening, but I don't think it's by design.
No.
I mean, you'd have to be a clear psychopath as an owner to sit there and be like...
Intentionally?
Yeah.
Like the Oakland A's, that owner, now, yeah, he's doing it for sure, but I don't believe that the DeWitts are trying to sabotage everything just to get to the fan base.
Look, we have been at times critical of everything in this organization, including the ownership group. We had a conversation earlier today about what has really changed since 2018. Not much. There does feel like this cautious, safe, predictable approach. That doesn't mean that they don't care, though. I think some fans believe that if they don't go out and spend a bunch of money every single offseason, that they don't care about them. That's not the case. They're an ownership group that certainly does care about being profitable, and that's within their right. It's their team. It's their business. They have every right to make a dollar, you know? So I think there's some fans everywhere, not just here in St. Louis, but everywhere, that get kind of offended by that they have an ownership that's not this diehard fan that only wants to win a championship every year and will spend every last dollar to do so. It's most owners don't think that way. That's how they got there, by the way. You don't become a multimillionaire, a billionaire by just being loose with your money.
Losing money.
Correct. So no, I don't. I agree with Jamie. I don't think there's this desire by the Cardinals ownership group to tick off the fan base or alienate the fan base, because the bottom line is a lot of times people, I've said this for a while, sometimes we get the text, why don't you hold them accountable? Why don't you say this? Why don't you just say that? They don't care what we have to say. They care what you have to say. You have the money. We do not. You don't show up. There's a bunch of red seats that the ownership group is staring at Busch Stadium. They're not gonna love that. You don't show up. You don't buy their product stinks. You have the power to do that, much more so than we do, because we are quite critical of this team. It doesn't matter. They're not going to be motivated because the fast lane talked about. But, the fast lane was mean to us. We better go out and sign somebody. It doesn't work that way.
Well, that's their first problem.
If they're listening to us.
No, they should listen to
anything
us.
outside of
no.
From an entertainment standpoint.
More people should listen to us.
Everyone should listen to us. And the Cardinals should get their information from us. We're smart.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
We just had the question about the superstars on this team being relatable. Do you think the front office is relatable?
No.
And are there owners in sports that are relatable to the location that they are in? I know, Jamie, you always talk about the Illich family.
Yes. Unbelievable family.
I'm sure they were relatable to the people in Detroit.
Well, he was so relatable because he started Little Caesars Pizza by begging a bar to let him come in and sell pizzas on busy nights. And then he built an empire and then bought up half of Detroit, all of downtown, and revamped it, and new stadiums and all sorts of things. So, yeah, I mean, he was very relatable because he was one of them. This guy built the dream. And I think Tom Stillman is a very relatable guy. He walks around, talks to people. He doesn't come across as an arrogant man. He doesn't talk to the fan base like they're lesser than him. In fact, he more times than not, he treats the fan base excellent because he knows that they're the key to the success of the franchise.
Right.
But when the Cardinals speak, man, it's like they just don't. They're unaware, I think, of how it comes off. Like the Bill DeWitt III, that one interview, that came off poorly. And Bill DeWitt III is not a bad guy. He's a good dude. He really is. He plays hockey with the alumni. He's a guy's guy. He likes sports. He's has beer with the guys.
Sometimes you are so far removed from certain aspects of life, though, that you are out of touch. Like if you have,
I agree.
If you are,
but people who think Bill DeWitt III is just sitting and he talks down to people.
No.
He doesn't.
I don't think it's intentional though. Like I think you can be so far removed from regular people, and I put that with air quotes because we're regular people.
What do you mean regular people?
Us. We don't have billion. I don't have $1 billion in the bank. I think we added all ours up, but
not even close.
Okay, so regular people, us. I think when you're a billionaire and you have X amount of dollars, there is a you're missing certain aspects of your inner circle.
Yeah, of course.
And the people that you engage with on a day-to-day basis.
You're out of touch a little bit.
You are out of touch. And so I think that may be what they're suffering from.
And I think that the biggest problem the Cardinals have, quite honestly, and I say this being very careful, is John Mozeliak. And I'm not even talking about his baseball decisions. I'm not questioning anything or complimenting it, nothing. That's sidebar for me. He's the one that addresses the fan base the most. And unfortunately, his tone and his selection of verbiage and just the way he talks to people comes off poor.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I've met John Mozeliak a few times. Pretty good dude, whatever.
I think you're wrong. I do not think you're wrong when you said that. Like I don't.
But the way he talks, people automatically.
Who's he
talks to
talking?
us like we're idiots.
Right.
And it might not be intentional.
I don't think it is. I think it's just.
But that's something you should work on. One thing I learned, Jamie, I've done therapy. When a lot of people say the same thing about you, it ain't them.
Yeah.
It's you.
You're right. Everybody's not wrong.
They don't even know each other. They all say the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be better.
Everybody's wrong about me. They keep saying the same things. It's not true.
They're not wrong.
Okay. I'll work on it, Carey.
There you go.
You've been telling me for a while now about certain things, and you know what? I hear you.
I appreciate it.
All right. Sports Six Pack part due next on 101 ESPN. When it comes to Mosby Building Arts, they do a phenomenal job. You want a full kitchen remodel? They're your company. You want to do your basement because it's unfinished? They're your company. But what about smaller projects? We've got 2 doors that are causing some issues when it comes to weather and things like that we need to upgrade. Not even upgrade. We just need them fixed. And we know that Mosby Building Arts can be the right company for it. Smaller project, yet it's a big deal for our house because while it's just 2 doors, it's 2 doors that causing some water damage in the basement. That could be an issue long term. So we're going to have Mosby Building Arts fix it for us. We're confident that they're going to do a great job because that's what they do. When they come out, you work with a designer, they take the proper measurements right the first time. If you're working with some company that hasn't been out to your house to even take proper measurements, how do you know that the price is going to stay there? How do you know that you're going to get the right service? How do you know you're not going to get some contractor that comes out and says, well, you know what, yeah, I'll do this, that, and the other thing for this price, and then they start tacking on additional costs to you. Work with Mosby Building Arts. They don't do that. They're a reputable company. They've been around for a long time, and they do incredible work, not just fixes, but upgrades as well. So if you're looking at a fireplace update, maybe you're looking at a partial kitchen refresh or create a home office, Mosby Building Arts is the right remodeling company for everyone. 314-909-1800. You can also call Mosby.com, which is their website. Call them. You can call them. You can visit their website. Tell them Stalter sent you. They're going to love hearing from you. Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We're going to continue our Sports Six-Pack. Go ahead, Marshy.
Question number 4.
All right, we got a question from the 314. What would the title of your autobiography be? And we know that Jamie has flirted with the idea of potentially writing a book and or making a podcast on his life. So what would the name of that podcast and or book be called?
Jamie.
Whoa. I haven't even thought about that. Man. Probably a picture of me playing hockey and then with the headline, "Till Death Do Us Part."
That's awesome.
I like that, actually.
It's a really good one. That's accurate.
I almost died and parted.
And that's how my career ended. So,
Is that how it ended?
Yep.
That was the end of it? That was over?
Yeah, nobody would insure me after that. True story.
This guy died.
Yeah.
But he's still here.
I think that'd be pretty accurate. And for some of the things that have happened off the ice as well, it's probably pretty accurate as well.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
Carey, you got one?
I don't know. I just thought undrafted.
There you go.
I was going to go with, "Don't worry, it was sick." Just take a long dive into, wherever that book goes, But I think we start off with the turtle story, work our way into the blue heron story, and then each chapter has a "Don't worry, it was sick" kind of feel to it.
Well done.
With the overall theme being, that thing's dead, but everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. He's fine.
Just fine.
Circle of life.
Circle of life. End of one, chapter, start of a new.
Yes. Imagine that.
Not bad.
Marshy, what about you? Let's go.
I have no idea, actually. I'm trying to think of all the significant things that have happened in my life. I don't know if they're as cool as you. As cool as being a professional athlete or witnessing a turtle die on the side of the road.
Marsh, right? Brother Man 619, though, says, "Just clear it," Stalter's memoir. And that's a good one, too.
Yeah.
That's a good one, too.
Man, I have no idea. Up late and grinding. I don't know.
I've actually read that book before.
Yeah.
That was actually the movie.
You saw the movie.
It was a movie. It was first a book made into a movie.
Yeah.
And Carey, you borrowed it.
I did. Yep. It's a good story. Mm-hmm. Well played.
The acting's tremendous.
Together. A lot of flexibility.
They're talented. Yes, very flexible.
Method actors, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the best kind of actors.
No doubt.
Modern day Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. All right. Let's move on.
Question number 5.
Why?
You said it.
I did. That's my fault. Again, another softball.
Yep.
All right. This next question comes from Tanisha. What are your 3 biggest pet peeves?
Well, I've talked about one of mine.
What's that?
When you don't, when you're driving and you let somebody in and that person does not at least just give real quick with the hand, just, "Hey, thank you." That is one of my biggest. It happened to me today, and I couldn't help. But when we stopped, I thought about getting out of the vehicle, dragging that person out of the window, and doing things that. Well, let's just say he was sick.
Yeah.
Kids were with me though. I
think
thought better.
Yeah, that's good. Good choice. For me, it's like things like leaving the shopping cart and not putting it back into the what is it called? The where you put the shopping cart.
Yeah, the holder.
Rack.
Yeah,
the rack.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's like you're that lazy.
Not to be confused with the Wrigley rack.
No, not that one. You're that overwhelmed. Like it takes, you put your groceries up. I don't know, 15 steps to put the cart where it's supposed to go. You just leave it in the parking lot. I feel as though I should run that cart right into the back of your car.
I think that's fair.
What about if you just ran into the back of their heels a couple of times?
Even better. You know what? Yeah. Just take said cart as they're getting in their car and just
that's a Jamie special.
Right into the back.
Just clip the heels a little bit and not be sorry about it.
It drives me. It's maddening.
So for me, it's when people who are not driving the speed limit are driving in the fast lane. And it's not even so much like on the highways here. It's like when you're traveling distance, right? So like last weekend, traveling up to the lake, and it's a 2-lane highway, and you got the trucks that are going slow. They can't help it. They're heavy. They're in the right lane, in a slow lane, and you have somebody else who's driving equally as slow right beside the truck. And then everybody's lined up behind this one car because the car can't figure out to get the hell out of the way or speed up, one of the two.
Yeah.
That sends me into a rage.
Makes sense.
I don't like it.
I think sometimes you should have bumper cars.
Oh, I would love to do that.
Just a friendly nudge. Not at high speeds because you don't want anybody to.
But I think, too, the cars should come with their own little, like, not their phone number, okay? But, like, remember our old text line, 65780?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every car should have a number where you can call or text that number and be like, hey, jackass,
Get out of the way.
You're doing 43 miles an hour in the fast lane. Move over, sister.
I like that.
That would be great. There wouldn't be any fights at all if you had those.
Oh, no. Yeah, sure.
People would love to get those text messages.
Oh, sure, yeah.
This is a show called Cardinals, where people are.
Really?
I wonder if they need help. I wonder if they are just walking around grocery store parking lots and engaging with people that are not putting their carts up.
That'd be great.
I think, you have a history with carts at the grocery store, wanting to run it.
Mostly
to the back.
Walmart.
I think we should go to just one day.
Yeah.
Just sit in the parking lot.
Walk around and clip people's heels again. Find out if they have a problem.
Ask them, do they want to go?
Oh, you got an issue? One of my other big pet peeves is just people not having self-awareness at all. Oh, yeah. Like zero self-awareness. Just clueless. Yeah. Zero self-awareness.
Yes.
Like, really?
And this is no offense to people that like riding bikes, but get off the damn road.
It's not a bad one.
And I know it's like a law that you can't ride your bicycle on a sidewalk.
Not supposed to. Yeah.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But please do not take up the road, especially if it's a single lane road.
Right.
I can't.
Oh, and you got
I
everybody.
can't stand
Yeah.
it.
Well, get over to the curb. That's fine. Get over to the curb, and then traffic can kind of flow around.
Have some awareness.
Yeah, have
some
a little
awareness.
awareness.
So I'm glad you brought that up because, in Cottleville, where I live, it's golf cart community. Now, not all the roads are just little. You can drive on the street as long as you have a street legal golf cart. But the golf cart in certain areas doesn't go as fast as a car. Just doesn't. So whenever I'm driving my golf cart and I look in the rearview mirror and I see that there's cars coming up on me, if there's a turn lane, which most of the time there are, I just move the cart over into the turn lane, slow down a little bit, let the car go, get back on the street. I'm aware that I'm going to be blocking traffic
for a while.
And I don't need to be.
Yeah.
I'll just get out of the way. You guys go by. I'll jump back over and I'll keep paying attention. I'll be aware
Absolutely.
of my surroundings.
It's not about you.
Yes.
That's right.
It's a community.
Joe Boo's jockstrap in the snake pit. I love this. He goes, my goal in life is to not interfere with yours. That's fantastic.
It's a great point.
It's
respectful.
It's great. Be respectful. Yeah.
Pretty simple. Life is not. You really can be a good person without having to actively go out of your way to be a good person. You can just be kind, be compassionate, get out of the way, and let other people pass.
Yeah. And if you're not, you should fetch a. You know what?
Also, speaking of bikes, motorcycle riders that cut through standstill traffic.
That just makes me
bothers the what out of me.
Yeah. I don't even care. Yes, you're right. But the other part of me, the dad in me, is what are you doing?
Yeah.
All it takes is one person try to change lanes, anything at all. Or you clip a mirror and you're flipping at that. I'm just I look at that stuff and I'm like, guys, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Just don't do it, please.
Don't do it. Yep. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Nice job, Tanisha. You gave us a good question there to end it. Should Major League Baseball require starters to go 6 innings? This is so Major League Baseball. But I think Jamie likes it. Carey does too. That's next on 101 ESPN. 505, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. So Major League Baseball is reportedly weighing six-inning requirement for starting pitchers, how mandatory outings could work, and CBS Sports had the coverage. Starting pitchers are averaging about 5 1/3 innings per appearance in 2024. A lot of people would love for Major League Baseball, the teams, to go back to pitchers going deeper into games as opposed to just being 5 and dive or even less than that. So sure enough, the report indicates that exceptions to the proposed 6-inning minimum could include throwing 100 pitches, giving up 4 or more earned runs, getting injured with a requirement injured list stint to avoid manipulation. So your team can't just say, he went 3 innings, our guy got hurt, and then not actually put him on the injured list. But Major League Baseball is considering this. For the last several years, Major League Baseball has grappled with the idea that it wants starting pitchers to be much more of a main character type player, the way they were 2 decades ago, or decades ago. This discussion has moved into drastic measure territory, according to ESPN, which had a report about Major League Baseball kicking around the idea of requiring starting pitchers to work at least 6 innings, although there are some caveats, which I just mentioned. I don't see how they could require this. I don't see how they can implement this.
Yeah,
you got a guy that
I've got 5 letters for you. MLBPA.
Right, there you go. So starting pitcher injuries are up.
You got it right.
It was the number I was worried about. That's right.
So
hang on, 1 word.
Hang on.
2. Wait,
4 words. 4 words. Nailed it. I don't see how they could do this. You're right, Jamie. First and foremost, the MLBPA is not going to sign off on this. You got pitchers also that are injured all the time. They're going to push back on this.
You can't force a guy to pitch 6 innings. Like, what are they saying? If he has a blow up in the 3rd or the 4th, you got to leave him in?
Yeah.
That's the 4 runs for me. I'm like, well, what if bases are loaded? You're up, 3 to 1, and right. You want to get a guy in there that can get this lefty out.
Wear it, big guy.
No, I think it's strange. Would I like to see pitchers going? I think maybe this is like the answer to bullpen games. So, have to see all these changes. They tried to do some things where you have to have a minimum number of batters, trying to speed the game up because it was so slow. I don't see how this happens ever. Mm-hmm. Like, nah, I don't.
The only thing you could do, which is a play on this a little bit, is put a maximum number of pitchers that you can use in a game. So let's say the maximum is 3 pitchers. Yep. You use 3 pitchers in a game. Oh. You can pull your starter out whenever you want. Then your mid-relief guy, just like the old days, he may have to handle 5, 6, 7 in those innings.
Sure.
And then you hand it off to your closer guy. Put a max of 3 pitchers in a game. Use them however you want.
That's not a bad thought. It is funny, though. Like, this is so Major League Baseball. It's like, we have an issue. Let's change the game so that we can fix it. I realize that other leagues, the NHL, we've seen the NHL implement things. NBA, football, NFL does it every year. But doesn't it feel like that Major League Baseball screws it up more than not? They overcorrect more times than not. I'm not saying that I don't want to see pitchers pitch deep into games. I would rather that. But shouldn't that be at the team level? Shouldn't the team say, hey, we want our starters to go deeper into games? But they don't. Why? Because they have adopted the specialization where you have, you're playing the matchups. You're going the righty-lefty matchups constantly. This is the team's fault. It's the same thing with home runs and the 3 true outcomes. Yeah. Teams pay for home runs. They don't pay for bunts. So you have players now that are doing what? They're trying to hit the ball of the yard.
Striking out.
Or striking out. They don't care. Because if the team don't care, I don't care. If I hit 30 home runs, I'm going to get paid. So the Major League Baseball, the teams are at fault, and the fans are paying for it. And I realize that maybe the league is trying to do things about it. I don't think that you can enforce this, though.
We had a text from the 314 says, if anything, just raise it to 6 innings for the pitchers to qualify for the win. Problem is that it's not the pitchers taking themselves out of the games or wanting to stay in. The pitcher has no control over it.
Yeah.
And the manager and front office could care less if you get the win or not, as long as the team gets the win. Quite honestly, if they keep you lower wins, it's better for them.
The pitch, that's what I'm saying. The pitcher might actually want to stay in because,
Yeah, but
again,
it doesn't
the
matter, Carey.
wins.
When the manager comes out and takes the ball from him.
We would. I'm sure there are pitchers that have an understanding.
Yes, but I'm saying overall.
Yeah.
It's not going to change. It'll be like 5 guys in Major League Baseball that can tell their managers to.
I also think that sometimes they do take the pitcher. They do let him get through that 5th inning because they do want him to be able to secure that win. So I'm sure I'm not sure, but I would assume that if the minimum was 6, then they probably would leave him in a little bit longer.
Somebody else brought up a good idea here. This is Marshy's burner. It says, why not make it if a pitcher doesn't go to 6 innings, you lose your DH for the back half. Like if you pull your pitcher out in 4th
Okay,
and 5th,
I could get that. I could get on board with that.
and then you get no DH for 6, 7, 8.
He's getting beat up.
Well,
How the hell do I have to keep him in?
Well, then the pitcher just has to throw at a batter and get thrown out.
That's true too.
He's gonna get
There's a way
fined.
around all of it.
You could make a
I like
rule
the 6 innings for the win, though. I do like that.
where if the pitcher he has to go at like at least 4, but if he has more runs, like he has to stay in. So let's say it is 6 innings, but if he has more than past the 4th inning, if he has given up more runs than the amount of innings he has pitched, then you are allowed to take him out.
Yeah.
So like let's say he's given up 6 runs through 5 innings. Okay, you don't hit that 6th inning threshold, but because he's given up more runs than innings pitched, then you can take him out.
That would be
once you're
difficult
past a certain inning.
because if you are, again, bases loaded and you're only up by 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Get out of the jam. Why are we paying you?
Right. That's a good point, too. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We do have some tickets to give away right now. Cardinals Bud Bash tickets. 101 ESPN has a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to next Tuesday night's Bud Bash game for Cardinals versus Brewers. Next week's Bud Bash game features a limited edition Woody Williams bobblehead. Get all the details on this season's series of Bud Bash games for the Cardinals now at cardinals.com/promotions. If you have the correct answer to our trivia question, which is Jamie today had himself an epic gauntlet battle. Epic gauntlet battle against Jared. How many points did Jared score today in the gauntlet? If you have the correct answer to that trivia question and you send it in to 314-399-9646, you'll win the Bud Bash tickets if you're the 101st texter for the Cardinals and Brewers on Tuesday, August 20th. I was listening to Alex Ferrario and T-Bone today driving in, and they get a text from somebody that said, hey, Brady Cook, the Mizzou quarterback, there's nothing special to him. And I thought about it, and I said, well, does Brady Cook need to be special for Mizzou to make a deep run in this year's college football playoffs? That's next on 101 ESPN. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. So I was listening to T-Bone and Alex Ferrario earlier today, and they got a text that came in about Brady Cook. We have the audio right there, Marsh? No, we don't. Sorry. The text, I think you said you were going to get the audio, and then it wasn't that big of a deal. But they got a text earlier about...
He literally told you.
I know, I'm doing 500 things. I apologize. I'm doing 500 things. I half caught it, so it's my fault. I apologize. I was listening to the guys. They got a text message. Not a big deal. They got a text message that said, hey, Brady Cook is nothing special, right? So I thought about whether or not the Tigers need him to be special. I think in the NFL, you obviously have to have a quarterback. If you're going to win a Super Bowl, more times than not, I know there's exceptions, but more times than not, your quarterback has to be special in the NFL if you're going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think we've always seen that in college football, though. You've seen some Alabama quarterbacks going back 10 years ago or so that were nothing special. And I'm not even talking about NFL. I'm talking about college football. Mm-hmm. They didn't always have the latest Heisman winner at Alabama. They had a complete program. They had a team that was obviously built defensively outstanding, a running game that was outstanding. They always had a receiver that was phenomenal. But they didn't always necessarily have the quote-unquote special quarterback. They had a facilitator. They had somebody that won't turn the ball over, that will make a big throw or two late in games. They'll protect the ball in the red zone, and they won. I'm not saying Mizzou is built like Alabama. However, does Brady Cook need to be special for Mizzou to make a deep playoff run? I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think he has to be special.
Oh,
no.
I do.
I don't think he has to be in the Heisman candidate.
Well, I don't think it has to be in the
Heisman candidate.
I don't think that is where he needs to be, but Mizzou is going to need something extra if they're going to, one, qualify for the college football playoffs, and then if they want to make any noise at all, it's going to take a really good performance by their quarterback. I don't just think.
But does he have to be special?
But I don't think the team is good enough for him to just be Brock Purdy out there.
Brock Purdy is pretty damn good.
But what I'm talking about is the comparison of having that many weapons around Brock Purdy. I don't think Mizzou has that many weapons. They've got Luther Burden, and then they've got some guys, but it's not like they don't have a bunch of stars on their team. Yeah. That means the quarterback is going to have to be one of the stars, in my opinion, for Mizzou to be successful. And by successful, I mean making the playoffs and winning at least a game.
For me, he's going to have to take care of the football. I mean, again, we talked about it last week. Losing Cody Schrader is going to – I want to see what that looks like because Cody was – you knew where he was going to be. You could hand the ball off to him. He did not come out of the game. He was there for pass pro, catching passes out of the backfield. I don't know how much of a loss that's going to be, but it's going to be significant. And so whoever is going to step in that role and replace that production is going to be important. But I don't know that Brady Cook needs to be special for this team to be a playoff team. The schedule is already set up for them to have success. They should win 10 games. If they don't win double-digit games, for me, that feels like a failure because this season is set up with all of the success that they've had. They're talking about Luther Burden potentially being a Heisman Trophy candidate. Biletnikoff a winner for sure. So all of the things are set up in front of them. Defense plays well. If Brady Cook does not turn over the ball, and if they can find a way to run the ball and have a balanced offense, I don't know that he has to be elite Heisman Trophy candidate for this team to win.
So what if they don't?
Games.
What if they don't have a running game? What if the running game's average?
Problematic.
But then you need more from your quarterback.
I don't know that he has that more. Then I guess that's what will be left to be seen.
But I'm not saying he has it or he doesn't have it. I'm just saying you're going to need strong performance from your quarterback. Does it have to be superstar-esque? No, but it's got to be enough to where nationally they're talking about how good he's playing.
I think that I think we're underselling the receiving core. Luther, we're all talking about Luther Burden, but Theo Weiss Jr. had himself some big moments last year. They've also got, and he's a senior. They've also got Mookie Cooper, the senior. Mm-hmm. So they've got a really good wide receiver room. Jamie, you're right though. I think you bring up a good question about the running backs. They've got Noel and they got Carroll. and two guys that have had 1,000-yard rushing seasons, but at Appalachian State and Georgia State. So how that's going to transfer over, we don't know. And losing the backbone of their offense last year, that's a significant hurdle now that they have to cross.
He did everything.
He did, yeah.
And I think it Missouri fans know, like people that watch them play, they know he was, like Luther Burden did some spectacular things, but you were going to hand that ball to Cody Schrader 25 times a game.
Sure.
He did not come out of the game. He did not. He was there. He was there for pass pro. He was there for pass catching. He did everything for that team. He was their horse. And without him there, I've never watched a running back, and this is high praise for Cody Schrader. I haven't watched a running back play an entire game every single snap and not take a play off, whether he was running the ball, catching the ball, or pass pro.
Yeah.
He was there. And so for me, it's going to be it will be a little bit different with him not being back there. And does that impact the quarterback? It does. It will. Because a running game, a solid running game, a guy that you can hand the ball off to, because the second running back is going to be a step lower. You know what I mean? The second guy is going to be a step down from what the starter is. Cody Schrader didn't give you that opportunity because he played every snap.
Yeah.
So for me, it's going to be how well they run the ball, and is Brady Cook able to take care of the football and get it to his playmaker.
And the defense is going to factor in big time too. I mean, maybe I undersold the defense a little bit the other day. You know, I said I don't know if it's a national championship defense. It might be a top 10, top 15 defense. I mean, like between 10 and 15 in the nation, though. They've got some athletic. They got a lot of athleticism in the front seven. They've got some guys that I thought, kind of suffered some growing pains last year that got better as the year wore on. They've got some pass rushers. They've got to replace some key pieces, in the secondary. But I think overall, this Mizzou team, top to bottom, is pretty damn good. And like you said, that the schedule, Carey, sets up to be great. Now, if we're talking about the playoffs, this is where Jamie's comments come in. If Brady Cook isn't special, maybe in the postseason, maybe that winds up being the difference maker. You get up against certainly Georgia or even some of these other teams that are going to be in the top 5. Mm-hmm. You better have a quarterback that can be more than a facilitator. Can he be at that time? I don't know. But in the regular season, I think you're good enough to get into the playoffs.
So they added a kid, Toriano Pride, who is from St. Louis, went to Clemson, had some success down there, but he came back and he's going to be starting at cornerback for them. I'm excited to see him. He did a really good job. He's a great player in high school, did a great job down in Clemson. Marvin Burks, who is also a St. Louis kid, outstanding, tall, lanky safety who does not mind hitting people. I'm excited about seeing him as well. So
not a bad trade in a safety.
They got a few guys on that defensive side that I think can help them. Are they a national championship team? Sometimes all of that falls into place for you. Like, you may not start off in that, but if you win 4, 5, 6 games and start gaining momentum, and you're playing against the Alabamas and beating them, or you're playing against a team like Auburn, who is supposed to be better this year, and you're beating the hell out of that team, like, you have a chance to make a run. But again, quarterback, if you're able to take care of the ball, how well are you on defense? Are you able to get after the quarterback and limit big plays? They can be really good, but I don't know that Brady Cook has to be special for this team to be really, really good.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. No Cardinals game, so we don't have to play Beat the Streak. But we do have the biggest question of the day next.
Hey, it's Carey, and if you're a contractor or own a business that needs recycling, then you need to know about my good friends over at Scrap Mart Metals. They are tailor-made for your business to meet your schedule and budget, but you don't have to own a business to do the recycling. If you got stuff in your house that you're trying to get rid of, maybe you had a garage sale, yard sale, was unable to sell some of those things, maybe you're moving, you can recycle it there as well. You'd be amazed at how scrap metals add up and how it can help your business's cash flow. If you're a plumber, if you do heating and cooling, an excavator, or a contractor, Scrap Mart Metals recycle recycling can make your job easier. If you own that heavy equipment, it breaks down time and time again. It's frustrating. You have to repair it over and over again. At some point, the time will come where you end your suffering and get rid of it. Scrap Mart will come and get it out of your way. They'll haul your equipment to one of their locations and get you a check the same day. Or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you can haul it yourself. They have 3 convenient locations, Valley Park, Peevely, Jonesburg. If it's metal, they will buy it. It is recycling made easy. Just go to scrapmartmetals.com. My guy Lucas can talk to you about setting up an account and get you rolling. That's scrapmartmetals.com, and tell him Carey sent you.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals have the day off, but they will take on the Los Angeles Dodgers tomorrow with Miles Mikolas on the mound, a 7:15 start. The Cardinals are looking to get back in the win column after being swept by the Cincinnati Reds. They are 4.5 games back of that final wild card spot with only a few months left to play. We'll see if they can do that. We talked about the Cardinals all day long, and if you missed any of those conversations, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our biggest question of the day coming up next, so stay tuned right here on 101 ESPN. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're in the... It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Andrew Marsh has got the biggest question of the day.
All right, gentlemen. So we had a conversation around 3 o'clock. What has changed for Cardinals ownership since 2018? And we referenced the Bill DeWitt Jr. Press conference and when the Cardinals ended up letting Mike Matheny go. And, we had that conversation. Of course, if you missed that, go download the podcast. But we got a question from the 636 because the Cardinals are now one game under 500, and they've been not good for the past year and a half.
What?
Yeah.
Boy, that seems harsh, but
yeah, shocker. Breaking news, Carey. We got a question from the 636, and I think a lot of people are probably thinking the same thing. Does Ollie Marmol get fired in season or in the off season, or do you think not at all? And we know he just got an extension at the beginning of the season. So where do you think the Cardinals go from here if they are to miss the playoffs?
I don't think they do anything. They've got money that they have committed to Ollie Marmol on, I believe it's 2 more years, and that's that. If they do fire him, it'll be in the last year of his contract. I can't see the organization overall, front office and ownership included, saying, hey, man, we gave Ollie a 2-year extension, and now we're firing him.
Right.
What does that say about the decision that they made?
I don't see them doing anything. I got this text. I got a buddy who texted me during the midst of, I think it was after one of the Reds' 19 home runs last night, and it was along the same lines of like, hey, does Ollie get fired because of this? I don't think he does. They gave him a contract extension. And I asked you, beyond that, like let's go beyond the, well, somebody has to be held accountable here. Okay, that's fine. Do you guys think, and I asked you this at the start of the show, do you guys think the players outside of Goldschmidt and Arenado are performing to their capabilities? And it's a really harsh question. I'm not talking about hope. I'm not talking about whether or not you want them to play better. I'm talking about, do you think that these players are largely, as a team, playing to their capability? No. You guys,
actually,
you guys all said yes earlier, and I agree with you.
Do I think that they're playing to their capability? The
rest of the team?
I'm talking about as a team.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you guys think they're kind of like they're giving it
this
their
is
all?
All they have?
Yes. For the most part. I'm not talking about like Arenado and Goldschmidt in the past numbers. I'm talking about as a team.
I think this is what they are, man.
Thank you.
I think, like, are you really going to get more out of Mason Wynn? Are you going to get more out of Alec Burleson?
Right.
Brendan Donovan?
Wilson Contreras?
They're kind of what they are.
Even the pitching staff. Kyle Gibson? Miles Michaelis? You could ask for more consistency.
That's probably what I'm thinking.
Fair.
Being more consistent.
But even if you're more consistent, are you 10 games above 500?
If you're more consistent, you're probably 5.
Yeah, they are what they are on paper.
Thank you. So we're going to fire the manager for the front office, and I'm not just talking about Mo. I'm talking about the ownership group. We're going to fire the manager for giving him a 500 roster. Like, let's be fair about it.
It's pretty
People
tough.
lose their jobs all the time.
It's pretty tough to fire the manager when you've given him a substandard roster. And I know the Cardinals probably feel differently.
I was going to say
their roster.
They probably don't look at it and think that it's.
Well, but they have to look at the results.
They're not being honest with themselves.
But they have to look at the results. They may not they may not look at the roster and be like, we made some mistakes here. But if you look at the wins and losses of the last 2 years, the roster you've put together, no matter who it's been, it's not good enough.
It's a large sample size.
It is a very large sample size. You're picking the wrong players. Bottom line.
Joe Boo's jockstrap, they have proven they can be better.
Who has?
You can't fire all the players, so someone has to go. But let's go back to it. They have proven they can be better. Five games. 5 games above.
I think he's meaning
500?
Individually. They've proven. Like, you've seen better from Nolan Gorman. You've seen better from Nolan Arenado. You've seen better from Paul Goldschmidt.
But we can't just cherry pick.
You haven't seen better from Alec Burleson. This is probably the best he's been.
We can't cherry pick their best performances, though.
But I would assume that's what.
Yeah, but you have to use their largest body of work in this. Like,
it's been better.
But no, not all of it. There's been pockets
For Nolan Gorman, Nolan Arenado has been better than he is right now.
We're excluding him and Gorman right now because they're definitely.
Well, then everybody else is right where they are.
That's what we've been saying for 7 minutes, Carey.
Okay.
Anthony,
welcome to the conversation, Carey.
Yeah,
it's a good field goal.
Extra point is good.
Did you see
Extra point is good.
You didn't see that, did you? I never mind. Go ahead.
I brought this up in the office before the show, but last year, Nolan Arenado mentioned that the team was too young. And I think we took that as, there's too many young guys in the clubhouse, and we need this veteran presence from,
they
all
fixed
these.
that.
We need some old SOBs, is what he said.
Those veteran guys are not your everyday starters, though.
No.
So you are relying, other than Goldschmidt and Arenado and Wilson Contreras, all of the other guys have not proven a damn thing in Major League Baseball. And that's like 6 of your players. And you expect to win a division with guys who are in their like 2nd or 3rd year in Major League Baseball?
Right. But, okay, so this kind of plays into what Joe Boo just said. He goes, so to Anthony's point, fire the front office for bringing on a bunch of stiffs with no upside. Yeah. It starts with the ownership group. If the ownership group is saying, hey, we're comfortable with that $40 to $80 million range, so we're going to give you that, but it's only going to be one player per off season, maybe. And here's the budget for this, and we're not going to really scour the international market because we're not willing to overpay for players we haven't seen before. Like, it starts with the ownership group. Yet we always want to fire the hitting coach, or the pitching coach, or the manager.
That's usually how it goes. Like, I firmly believe that they don't make it to the playoffs. Pitching coach, hitting coach, some bench coach, someone will lose their job. Is it fair? No. Because they don't pick up a bat, they don't throw a pitch, they didn't leave a pitch over the middle of the plate, and they didn't give up 5 home runs. Mm-hmm. But they're going to lose their job.
Gary, and I'll say the same thing, and I can't wait to hear what Jamie's text response is, but I'll say the same thing that I always do when this conversation comes up. Nothing's going to change then, because Mike Maddox had to go too, and then Mike Maddox became a pitching coach for the World Series champion Texas Rangers.
Yeah,
it's like, well, you shouldn't have fired Mike. We chase the results constantly, not really addressing the problem. Anthony, how many times have you ever seen a CEO fire? No, I'm with you. Joe Boo, I'm with you. What I'm saying, though, is if the front office doesn't change, I don't care if you put Marsh in at manager. It's not going to make a difference. Marsh is a bright kid. Marsh is a bright kid.
Marsh would be starting Jordan Walker.
He probably would be. Yes. What I'm saying is...
Not if the president said you're not.
You can fire
Why
Ollie.
Why would he say that?
Guys, listen, fire Ollie. No problem. Nothing's going to change. Jamie, go.
So we had a text from the 636. It says, it is the manager's job to inspire the players to play up to their potential.
Oh, sweet Mary and Joseph.
Ollie doesn't do that. Hence, Anthony, streaky players.
I might walk out.
And up and down games. The manager has blame in this. Across all sports, there are examples of coach or manager getting fired. The new coach lights a fire and the team performs.
You think...
Ollie's job to inspire
every game, 162, you're supposed to stand in front of the team and give them a speech that makes them run through the wall.
If you do that,
and go play.
20 games in, the players are sick of you.
They are so annoyed with you. Man, shut up.
If no
That's
one,
what they would be telling Ollie. Shut up.
If Nolan Arenado, who's making what, $250 million, needs to be inspired, then you got the wrong dude.
Somebody else.
You got the wrong dude.
Exactly,
and I'm not talking about Ollie.
It's not on the coaches to inspire.
You're not getting.
It's your job.
Carey had to inspire his high school players.
I did.
College coaches might have to inspire those guys, although now some of these guys are making more than the pros.
There you go.
But the pro player, you are a professional. That's the equivalent of going down to like Edward Jones and the boss has to come on and inspire you to like, come on, let's make more calls here.
Every day.
It ain't going to matter.
Let's just be honest.
You got to be a pro.
Ollie can go and he can have a book of pump-up speeches.
Right.
A book of them. And the team still can play like crap. He's not going to inspire them with his words or like, what's he going to... You're either good or you're not.
Right.
You either compete or you don't.
Yes.
I think with Ollie, I think there's nothing he can do about the players not playing and having success. What he can do is stop playing said players if they aren't having success.
But then
like, I would
replace them with what?
I would figure it out.
Jordan Wall.
No, because he's a platoon player. We've been over this. But you get guys that want to play hard, that are going to play hard, you got to figure something out.
Yeah.
And that is on the manager, in my opinion.
But yes, it is, as long as he's allowed to manage freely.
But we take that off
He
of him.
plays for Cincinnati.
Because he said
that.
That's Fraley.
Carey, how many things have you heard in sports that aren't true?
Well, I wouldn't have said it. If it wasn't true, because now you put the bullseye
Maybe he was
directly.
told to say it.
I wouldn't. And I've said this before time and time again, coaches get fired all the time. And every coach that I've talked to that has been fired will say, next job I get, I'm going to do it my way.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well do it your own damn way from the jump. Because they are going to fire you at some point if you don't win.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, let's have it your way.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Joe Boo talked about having pride. You're absolutely right. You said it worked for Ted Lasso, though. That's right. You got if you hire Ted Lasso, I'm all in. Maybe you could coach the soccer team here too. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We'll wrap things up. Wow. Next on 101 ESPN. There's your soccer talk. can join 101 ESPN for the second annual Blues and Brews on Friday evening, September 20th at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. Get fired up for the blues season at this outdoor street party featuring live music from country music star Matt Stell and St. Louis's own Charles Glenn Group, plus appearances by blues players and alumni, food trucks, 101 giveaways, and more. Tickets are just $20, and they're on sale now. You can learn more at 101ESPN.com. If you missed anything from today's show, you can download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com and your 101 ESPN mobile app, all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. March, what do we got for standings now for Bet the Board?
All righty, let's look at this. Looks like Jamie missed his pick yesterday. So Jamie has 6 points.
Dare.
Carey is killing it right now. I believe he has 8. Let me just check this real quick. 8 or 7. Sorry, I need to update this. I have 3. Anthony, you have 5.
Go ahead with your 1.5, Carey.
You know what? Give me Marcus Semien, 1.5. Hits, runs, RBIs, minus 110.
Whatever. All right. I'm going to go with Zach Wheeler.
I was going to go
6.5 strikeouts. I'm going to go over. That's minus 110.
That's where I was going.
I was looking at that, too.
I bet you were.
I was.
Am I ahead of Jamie?
No.
Nope.
Beat it.
What's Jamie at?
6.
I hit mine last night.
You did.
I only got 5?
Oh, no, you do have 6, but Jamie was the 6th
That's
before
fine.
you were.
Yeah,
I get
Anthony.
it. Yeah.
You're being a baby.
Marsh, I'm not a baby, you mother trucker.
That was a bit
you
of a
mother
baby.
fast lane.
Carey,
Can I
that
ask
was-
a question?
that was a
I
little
can't
bit-
ask a question. No, you're a baby. Man. Go ahead, Marsh. I don't have one. Well, because Jamie had a brilliant pick.
Oh, there it is.
Guys, it is August 15th, which means
The
the WNBA
The W
is back. And I am back to choosing a WNBA game. Give me the Los Angeles Sparks plus 11.5 against New York. They are the underdog. However, head-to-head in the last 5 matchups, New York has failed to cover the spread. So give me LA plus 11.5.
Good stuff there. All right, I'm going to just take the Twins minus 120. They're in Texas tonight. They got Bailey Ober on the hill. So Twins minus 120. Did you take that? Okay.
No, I took Marcus Semien against the Twins.
Yeah.
We both can win.
Well, hopefully it gets shut down. Simeon.
Hopefully he has a grand slam and they lose.
Well,
Wow.
Yep.
all right, Marshall, what do you got for criticisms and compliments?
From the 636, love the shirt. Jamie, thinking about our man Jeff today.
Yes.
P.S. Fast lane this Cards team.
Yeah. Mother fast lanes.
Yeah, so today is the day that Jeff Burton passed away a couple years ago. So shout out to Jeff's family and all the weirdos from the Rizzuto show that we're celebrating Jeff today.
Yeah, well said. Miss Jeff. Jeff, tremendous. He was a tremendous person, tremendous family, no doubt.
We get a text from the 314. All you guys do is cry about the Cardinals. Come on, guys. Cry like a little baby.
Okay. All right.
Hey, you know what? You celebrate 9-2 loss, then
Did we cry about the Cardinals?
I don't know what to tell you.
We're mad.
I don't know.
Are we mad?
Hey, I'm gonna let everybody in on a secret. We're doing a radio show, like it's a show.
I want
4 hours.
I want my
It's a
Cardinals.
it's a radio
I want my
show.
Cardinals to win every game.
What are these guys doing, crying about sports on a sports show?
I do cry about
Go
it.
fast lane yourself.
All right.
Okay.
For the 618, Jobu's jockstrap is the best handle ever.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great
Shout out
That
to
is a good. That
Snake
is
Pit.
good.
All right, let's get to our 3 stars of the day before we get out of here. Our 3rd star of the day goes out to guys who are working hard.
Yeah,
Carey.
Your Cardinals, huh?
Yep,
You're working hard.
absolutely.
Keep working hard, fellas.
Keep working hard.
2nd star of the day goes to Jobu's jockstrap, who's been very active today in the Snake Pit. So shout out to Jobu's jockstrap.
Nice.
And our 1st star of the day goes to our 2nd 2024 Gauntlet winner. That would be Jared.
Jared
yes,
was smoking,
Jared,
man.
nice job, man. If you missed that trivia question earlier, how many points did Jared get today in his final Gauntlet appearance against Jamie? He got 8.
How many did Jamie get?
7. Jared swept the board. Jamie came up 1 point shy. You gave it all you had,
hard, man.
Yes, you did. But not like the Cardinals play hard.
Cardinals hard? Or Jamie hard?
Jamie hard. Yeah, no, it's Jamie hard.
That's the best way.
Yeah, there you go. We have instant replay coming up from 6 to 7. They'll do it for us here in the Fast Lane for Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. Carey, have a nice day off. We'll see you on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Doing some Illini football, so we'll see you on Monday. For the rest of you, see you.